everybody. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. Hey, Amanda.
Hey.
Hey. Welcome back. It's time for the podcast. Everybody.
Who are you welcoming?
Everybody. Just
Everyone's
everybody.
welcome.
Yeah. Come on in. Take a seat.
The water's fine.
Grab one of the many caffeinated beverages that I keep around.
So much caffeine.
Keep me propped up. And welcome back to the RageSelect podcast. Right here on RageSelect. I'm Jeff.
I'm Amanda.
Amanda, we have a strange days on the RageSelect podcast. We've got like a
Good
bunch
strange or bad strange?
there's only one Microsoft story, so
Okay, but how many NFT stories, Jeff?
0.
Okay, good
Yes,
strange.
0.
It doesn't matter after that. Everything is good after that. It's all gravy.
There's one AI story and there's one Microsoft story, but other than that, I think we got a good show.
Okay.
I think we got a good show.
Nice.
Yeah. But before we get there, I watched John Wick 4 last
nice.
week.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I thought...
All right, we're 2 John Wicks behind.
Oh, well, okay, so let me put it this way. I liked it better than John Wick 3, which isn't saying much because I really didn't like John Wick 3 very much. But when I started watching the movie, I had to go read the plot synopsis on Wikipedia for John Wick 3, and I remembered why I did not like John Wick 3.
Why didn't you like? What's the one sentence why you didn't like John Wick 3?
It's because if you go read the synopsis, it's just like, and then John...
I asked for one sentence, and you're going to give me the wiki link?
No. There's sentences on there like, and then John has to travel to the Circle to find out if they can tell him where the Elder resides in order to get his punched ticket, and then the Sambuca comes in.
The
and
Zamboni.
It's like, yeah, and there's just all this terminology where I'm like, this wasn't why I liked this franchise.
Yeah.
I didn't like this franchise because of the weird
the lore of mercenaries they created.
It was more just like I really liked the character of John Wick.
Yeah,
and
the amazing action shots and stuff.
Yeah. So this one, I feel like they stripped it down a little bit more, where it's just like, this guy doesn't like John Wick, and now he's going to have to shoot a bunch of people in order to sort that shit out.
Well, I love a good basic plot.
Yeah.
So is this the end? Does John Wick have he's not going to do more than the 4 or something?
No, I had a story about there's going to be a 5th one, but to say any more would be to get into weird spoiler stuff about the movie.
So he died.
But
I'm just kidding. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
So I liked that part. The part that I didn't like was that the movie was 2 hours and 40 minutes long.
Who the fuck?
It was as long as Lord of the Rings, and it was a John Wick movie, for God's sake. So, if you think about the first John Wick movie, and you think about the structure of the movie, and you're like, how would you make a movie that's about a guy shooting people that fucking long? And the answer is fight scenes that go on way too long.
Yeah.
There's so many parts in here where it's just like, John Wick is just murdering 70 guys, and he's not even killing them really fast. He'll punch a guy down.
He's enjoying it.
And then shoot a guy, and then that other guy gets back up and he throws his empty gun at him, and then they wrestle over like a fucking knife, and then he puts the knife in the side of the guy's arm, and then he falls down, and then 3 more guys come, and it's just like, there is a point in action movies where you can get bored.
Yeah.
Where you can just be watching it. It's
it's a little too much.
Yeah, the Red Letter Media a long time ago, when they were doing the Star Wars reviews, the Plinkett reviews, had a thing they talked about at the end of episode 3 where they talked about the lightsaber fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin and how it just goes on and on and
I think people forget how long that fight scene is. Yeah,
and it's one of those things where it's like, okay, so one of my favorite movies of all time is Mad Max Fury Road. And you could make an argument that says Mad Max Fury Road is almost just like one big action scene that just goes on for 2 hours.
Right.
But the thing is that it keeps changing and being different. And we're going to different trucks, and then these trucks are gone. Here's a new thing. The problem is that, there's a scene about a third of the way through John Wick 4 where it's in this big Japanese hotel. And I swear to God, it's just 25 minutes of guys stabbing and shooting guys.
Yeah.
And it's not like...
You're like, I don't even care who gets stabbed or shot anymore.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that if halfway through it, then, guys in mech suits showed up, and it would be like, oh shit, that's gonna raise the stakes.
It's like,
or like ninjas come in from the third direction. The thing is that it's just a lot of like watching one guy kill guys.
Yeah.
And it's hard to say. I mean, and the thing is that normally if I want to watch a movie and I know that I'm going to be on the fence about it, I'll get drunk when I watch it. And I'm just like, woohoo, you know, I'm fucking wasted. It's Friday night. I got nothing to do.
Yeah.
This is going to be great. And I was watching this movie and I was just like, oh, fuck, here we go again. Here's like another 20 minutes.
Yeah, he throws that first punch and you're like, fuck, all right. Let's...
Yeah. And like, I feel really bad saying these words because I'm a big action movie guy. I like action movies, but I feel like
But there's something to be said about like pacing and retaining your attention and stuff like that. Like, it's not just, I want to watch people punch people over and over again. Not that that's what this was, but you know what I mean? Like, if it starts feeling a little stale or it stops like engaging you as an audience member, then there's nothing you can really do about it.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Like, I wish I was complaining to Michael last week. The last few movies that I've watched, it was like this. It was like Evil Dead Rise. What was the one from last week? Oh, I don't remember. But I keep watching these movies. And I was like, that was all right. That was all right. That was all right.
That mid-tier movie.
Yeah, I'm really looking for something that's gonna knock my socks off. Like, Quantumania was okay, and Dungeons and Dragons was surprisingly okay, but like,
it was a fun one.
You know, it didn't knock my socks off. It was an enjoyable watch.
I know. I feel like I'm gonna get hate for this. If you're looking at like an Ant-Man movie to knock your socks off, like a Marvel movie in this day and age to knock your socks off, I don't think that's gonna. Maybe Spider-Man, but like nothing else.
Maybe you gotta go see that Spider-Verse movie. Maybe to actually go like pay money to go watch a movie in the theater. Like Guardians 3. I've heard nothing but good stuff about Guardians 3. I've heard it's like different than a lot of the stuff.
I'm not watching nothing about no fucking animal testing. Like, I don't already cry at the drop of a hat. I'm not gonna watch animal cruelty on the big screen.
No.
And James Gunn is particularly good about being emotionally manipulative when it comes to that sort of thing. So I
definitely teared up at the end of the holiday special, and that was mostly about Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
So
I always cry at Kevin Bacon. So beautiful.
What about you? Did you watch anything, listen to anything, do anything good?
Okay, so I'm going to do 2 TV shows and 1 movie real fast.
Okay.
Because you guys are already going to know this one. Muppets Mayhem came out a while ago, but I haven't had really a chance to talk about it.
Yep.
It's great. It's fun as hell. It's a blast, and I think everyone should watch it. I think it does a good job at not being totally about the humans. It doesn't like push too hard into like being a kids show or being a Disney Plus show. It's it rides the line that like Jim Henson was really good at. A little more towards like family friendly than Jim, but still, it's like it rides the line a lot better.
Is that a movie?
It's a television series. It's a 10-episode, 30-minute each episode television series, and it's just about the Electric Mayhem.
Okay. So
like none of the other, there's like Kermit the Frog is not in it.
Oh, okay.
It's just about them being the most influential band since the 70s that's never stopped being on tour, except they've never released an album.
Okay.
And so this whole thing is about them releasing their first album, which I bought on vinyl.
So is it structured like a biopic?
No, they do have an episode that makes fun of the Beatles. What's the Peter Jackson Beatles documentary that was real popular for a second?
Help or something like that?
I can't remember, but it was that like 4-episode like miniseries that was also on.
That. Yeah.
They make fun of it.
Okay.
For one episode where they do that, but it's more just you're following a
Get Back.
Yes. Kevin Smith plays the Peter Jackson role.
Okay.
It's cute and fun. And then the other TV show I just started watching is Grease: Rise of the Pink Ladies, which is on Paramount Plus.
Okay.
And it is very good. If you're a Grease fan, I think you'll enjoy it. Music is a little modern, but still musical modern. It's not like It's not. I keep having to explain this. It's kind of modern in the sense that like you're not going to get like 70s singing or like 50s singing if you ask people to sing now. Does that make sense? Where
a little bit, yeah.
Because a lot of people, when I say it's really modern, they think that it's like Lin-Manuel Miranda having them fucking rap Grease stuff or something. It's not that.
Okay.
It's definitely still takes place in the 50s, but it is also more diverse. There's a gay character. But I don't think it's very feministy, but it's Rise of the Pink Ladies, so I don't really know what people want from me. But I don't think it was bad. I don't think it was like too, you know, when you like
did you
shove
finish
it down
it?
your
It's over, right?
Today is the season. The day we're recording this is the season finale. So I've not finished it, but I will soon. And I don't watch a lot of TV, so you know that it has to mean something that I watched this one.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing I watched was Shin Kamen Rider. I watched it last night.
Oh yeah.
Everyone ditched every RageSelect host ditched Jeff yesterday, so we could all separately. I don't think any of us went together. John and I went together, but I know Michael and Matt.
I think
and
Michael
Tessa
skipped it until next week.
Oh,
but
okay. Yeah,
Matt
they
and
did
Tessa
release more
went as
days.
well.
But yeah, like we all separately but together simultaneously.
I ate $20 worth of Chinese food and went to bed early last night.
Well, you should have gone to go see Shin Kamen Rider.
No, because I ate $20 worth of Domino's pizza the day before that, and I didn't sleep at all. It was just Domino's demons all night long.
You could have brought Domino's into the movie theater and watched Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I think it's fun. I think for me, it's Shin Kamen Rider, then Shin Godzilla, and then Shin Ultraman.
I did not care for Shin Ultraman.
Yeah. The more I think about Shin Ultraman, the less I liked it. Like it was fine and enjoyable. I'm glad I watched it. But I'll never want to watch it again. There is a good chance I will rewatch Shin Kamen Rider.
Okay.
It's like a really good long, episode, maybe like movie feel. Like Ultraman felt like 3 episodes.
Yeah. That would be my question, is that Ultraman felt like more like to me like 4 episodes of a TV show that they just like really cut all of the detail out. So it was like, I don't understand who I'm supposed to care about at all.
Oh, well, no, this one definitely like gives you a good idea of like you're with these 2 characters. This is their like the emotion behind everything that's happening. It does play like one long episode of the original Kamen Rider. So if you like Kamen Rider, you're like getting a good taste of that.
Okay.
I thought it was really nice to look at. Like their costumes are a little silly because it's based on the original stuff. The graphics are like but the director really liked long wide shots. So you're just like wrapped in this world, and the characters are just little not dots, but just little figures in the middle of the screen. Okay. And they're just sometimes it was really nice to do that, and I just thought it was really enjoyable to watch.
Sounds good. I don't think that any of the Shins are going to get me out of my house into a movie theater to watch.
I wouldn't have gone if John didn't pay for it.
Well, there you go. There you go. Well, speaking of big movie stars, we had a spotlight last week on the new Alone in the Dark game that is coming out. And this one was announced a little while back, but one of the big things about this is that they're looking to remake. It's kind of a remake of the very first Alone in the Dark. And the 2 main characters, because in the first Alone in the Dark, you could play as, there were 2 characters that you could switch between, a man and a woman. And so Edward Carnby,
Christian Slater, or Tara Reid
is, well, let's see. Jodie Comer is playing the lady. I don't remember any of their names. And David Harbour is playing as Edward Carnby.
Yeah.
Who I guess I remember one of the names. I don't know if you know who Jodie Comer is. She was in Killing Eve and The Last Duel and
yes. I recognize her face, but I don't think I've actually seen any of her movies. I just like on the outskirts know who she is.
I watched like 2 seasons of Killing Eve, I think. It was okay. But yeah, they did kind of a whole big kind of, I don't know, they talked a lot about it. I watched this whole thing. It was 11 minutes long. You know, anytime that the video game industry puts out an 11-minute thing and then they start cutting away to like the developers talking in front of like their fucking booze shelf at the studio or whatever, you could be assured that there's only going to be about 3 minutes worth of actual information in here.
Yeah.
And the rest of it's just going to be them like filleting themselves about like how awesome they are.
They worked so hard.
Yeah. One of the things that is kind of interesting, though, is that, well, first off, they said that the story is going to be different between the two characters. So you will have like an incentive, kind of a Resident Evil Leon
to play both.
Yeah,
stories.
Claire thing. The whole thing is kind of in this house that was like a mental asylum at one point. I don't know. There's something a little weird about David Harbour as like a supernatural private eye. And I think that a lot of it is the fact that he's too big.
Do you think he's too big?
I think he's too big. Like, he looks just too big and tall and beefy. I feel like I want a more...
You want like a small, scrawny guy, like what's his face from Reanimator?
Yeah, maybe Jeffrey Combs.
Jeffrey Combs, thank you. I was like, God, I wish I remembered his
I don't
name.
know. I mean, I guess I when I think of like private, like an investigator, right? Like this kind of throwback,
like hidden in the shadows kind of thing, but it's like no shadow can reach him.
Yeah, I mean, his clothes don't even really seem like they fit all the way. Like, it seems like he's gonna punch a ghost in the face or something.
He might. Ghost puncher.
So
I actually really like David Harbour, so that's a selling point.
Yeah.
Have you played the demo for this at all? Didn't the demo come out?
They came with a prologue, and I haven't played it. I actually wish that I had known that it was out, because I probably would have put it somewhere on the schedule for this week. But
it's so funny. My brother keeps texting me and telling me like, I played the demo. If you played the demo, play the demo. It's great. You're going to love it. And then I went on Twitter and was just like, oh, let's see what people are saying. And everyone's like, fucking sucks. I can't believe anyone. And I'm like, I don't know who to trust.
I think that, I don't know. I look at this and I think that this looks a lot like, do you remember, I don't know if you and I played it or not. There was a game that we played on RageSelect that was called Remothered. That was like
that sounds familiar.
Throwback kind of to an older style of adventure where it was like a third person and it was a lady. She was in this house kind of hiding from people and going around and stuff.
Yeah. Actually, I do remember that. Yeah. Where we got like chased by like a maid or something.
Something like that.
Or like a grandma.
Put that microphone, put it.
Where? How do you want it?
There.
You're literally just like making wrist noises or movements at me, and I'm like, I don't know which way you want this to go.
I was trying to indicate, but
your wrist went both directions.
That's true.
You could point down or point up.
That's true. I think that, I don't know.
That lady looks like she's going to turn him into some meat pies.
There's also like monsters. Like, it's kind of got some third person action stuff. Where they show like shooting at monsters. There's a lot, I think the thing is that there's a lot of
Was it not an action game? Not action, but got a little action to it.
It had a lot of that kind of Resident Evil DNA, like the early Resident Evil DNA. In fact, they talk about like, oh, this was the first like action horror, real-time action horror game. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. Because technically, yes, I did.
They're like asterisk, like adding little...
Well, you could also just say that was released in places. So, there's definitely some monsters. I don't know why they saved all of the action for just like a montage at the very end.
Yeah.
As opposed to all of these just like wandering around in these houses. It's also very floaty, though.
I like, we're not listening to it now. I didn't watch it. Were they just like spending a lot of time talking about the story or something? Yeah,
a lot about the story. They brought the original developer of the first game back to like co-write it.
Okay.
They talked a lot about, making sure you play through the game twice. There's like puzzles. There's different outcomes. I don't know. I feel like I always have a lot of high hopes for games like this, but that there's a certain level of violence that they lack that I really want in order for me to make a horror game like affecting to me, because if there's too much just like walking around like reading notes and opening cabinets and
you're not like a big I gotta collect the lore via letters from people's desks and shit like that. You're not that kind of person, Jeff.
I think that the reason is because what gets my heart pounding in video games is like action sequences, right? So when Resident Evil 4, like when the whole village comes out to attack you, that's like really tense, right? Because you're having to deal with this huge threat, and you have to overcome that threat in order to succeed, and if you lose, you have to do it over again, which is kind of the standard video game like punishment, right?
Yeah.
So the idea that it's just like, well, you want to make sure that you go around and read every single note. And
the funny thing is, it doesn't look scary. So it's like you want to go through and like read every note. Otherwise, that maid's going to be really stern with you.
Like that may be another thing, is that I don't know if it's just the engine that they're using, but everything seems more well lit than I would like it to be. Even though like you could definitely see.
I'm wondering if a lot of this character stuff is just like the beginning,
the setup.
And then it'll start, because like when you saw the montage of action, that was all dark,
right? That's true.
So I kind of wonder how much of this is actual, like this is all this exposition. It needs to be bright so you can see them all talking, and then all of a sudden all the lights will go off. It'll become a dark and scary night.
Maybe the other thing is that all of the environments are very sparse. Like
the environment, it's funny, I was thinking that the environments look a lot like they're when you could tell like you can't interact with anything, and it's just like a matte painting behind them, basically.
I feel like if you look at what a lot of modern horror games, not even just like Resident Evil, but if we look at like that Remothered game, right, where it was very like dark and spooky, and then there was a lot of like weird junk everywhere, and nothing was very well lit, and so I don't know. Like this one, I don't know. I was talking to Michael about this last week about how like sometimes when I look at a game after this amount of time of playing game after game after game, I just get some warning bells start going off. Like it takes me, sometimes I've got to like really think about why, but like I don't know, something about this just seems more like you know what it seems like is that Alone in the Dark, the first one, was like a big thing when it came out. And then over the years, they kept trying to make Alone in the Dark a thing, and it never fucking was.
Not at all.
The last one that they made was like a Left 4 Dead 4-player co-op shooter. It was really bad.
Why?
And that now they're just like, well, now we're going to reboot the whole thing and go back to our roots. And it's like, that could work, but I don't know that this has enough cachet to attract a developer big enough to really turn it from something that people fondly remember as the first of its kind into something that's going to be like a hallmark that everybody's like, oh my God, remember fucking Alone in the Dark 2023? That was awesome. That was amazing.
You have to be able to like let go of the legacy in order to create a new thing out of it.
And part of it too is like, I don't know, David Harbour, Jodie Comer, and it's like
I'm starting to feel like celebrities even actors, even like well-established actors in a game.
Sometimes a bad idea.
It's a bad omen. It just seems like they're trying to like catch us with that instead of really getting us with the gameplay. You know what I mean? Don't sell me a bad movie. And then tell me it's a good video game. Do you know what I mean?
I'd rather watch a bad movie that is a good video game, like all those Whales Interactive games.
Oh my God. Well, yeah.
So as previously mentioned, we saw that there's a whole 10-minute thing. I recommend everybody go look at it for yourself. As you mentioned, there's a prologue out that you can play right now. I think this is very similar to the Resident Evil stuff, because it's like, oh, you're that little girl from the thing, and she's got to deliver a letter, so you can walk all around in this house, and it's like, right, but I don't think she's going to have any shotgun parts.
Unless I get to murder somebody as that little girl, what's the point?
So, but yeah, that's out right now. You can totally go look at it. From everything I heard, it sounded like it wasn't very good, but I haven't played it yet.
Well, you tell us. What did you think?
Yeah. Let's see from there, Amanda, since you and I played Bolt Gun last week.
Hell yeah.
Warhammer had a whole they have their own conference every year called Skulls, just all capital letter.
That's fucking metal.
Skulls.
That's great.
And they announced like a bunch of stuff. Now we're gonna. Well, there were eight games they talked about, but we're gonna rule out a whole bunch of them.
8 games, like video games.
Yeah, we're gonna rule out a whole bunch of them. We're gonna get rid of like 4 of them. We're getting rid of 50% like right off the bat, because one was the Dark Tide. Remember the one where we played as the big Colossus guy,
yes.
where we fought we
broke out of prison.
The Rizzler.
Rizzler. No.
That guy was getting some DLC.
Yeah.
Total War Warhammer 3. That's getting some DLC. They showed Bolt Gun. We've already played Bolt Gun. Bolt Gun rules. Everybody should go play Bolt Gun.
Hell yeah. Also, if you want to get little like caught up on lore, go into the comments section. So many people were talking about the character. Or not characters, but the like classes. What are like? Yeah.
Oh, the lore.
Yeah.
See, I knew that. I knew that if I ever mentioned anything about Warhammer 40K, there's just gonna be the fans of Warhammer 40K, and you know what? I don't wish them any ill will, but they're just going to hear me say some off-brand shit.
They weren't even insulting. Most of them were just like filling in the gaps of like, well, you mentioned this part of like the skeleton cyber, whatever they're called.
The Necrons, yeah.
And, but actually, and then they'd get like way deeper into it. It was really cool. I read like every single comment because it was like interesting. Who needs the wiki page when I have the comment section?
We're going to make Amanda into Warhammer 40K person.
Please don't.
In a year,
I don't want it.
She's putting the pink lady's jacket on all of the Space Marines.
They all look like Muppets.
Okay, we had 8 games. Dark Tide Warhammer 3 Bolt Gun, right out. Number 4 is Power Wash Simulator. Had a very brief teaser. They're doing a Warhammer 40K
Oh
thing.
my god, that's kind of funny.
Well, they've already done Tomb Raider, Final Fantasy 7, and they announced last week a SpongeBob SquarePants expansion.
That's funny.
They're just like,
that's fantastic.
Yep.
That's just fun. That's just a good time, goddammit.
So we have 4 games left to talk about.
Okay.
The first one was Space Marine 2, which was announced a little while back and had a CGI trailer, but did not have any actual gameplay.
Okay.
Whereas this time they actually showed some gameplay. I am a huge fan of the first Space Marine game because unlike a lot of the like tactics games that they have, Space Marine is just like a third person fucking hitting dudes with a chainsaw sword game.
Yeah, they don't really shy away from the violence, do they?
No.
They're like, you know what we need? More blood.
More violence.
More? Look, if we give him a chainsaw, he's going to use the chainsaw. I don't know what you want from me.
The last game came out, the last Warhammer Space Marine game came out kind of in an era when there was a lot more like cover shooters.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, the way you get health back is by executing people with a chainsaw sword. So like it's an encouragement to like do not hide. Like you need to get out there and shoot a gajillion dudes.
What do you think this is? Gears of War?
So this one they showed, and this wasn't a secret, but the last game was like Orcs and Chaos.
Yeah.
I think it was Orcs. Yeah, it was Orcs, and then Chaos obviously shows up because freaking they can never
always
nod.
do, yeah.
This one is the Tyranids, the Gene Stealers, which are an awful lot like the Zerg.
Okay.
Except they have more like there's like a guy with actual swords and stuff there. But they're kind of like a big hive, buggy, lizardy kind of guys.
Xenomorphy.
Yeah. I got into a big argument with somebody a long time ago, but there was been somebody was trying to argue with me that StarCraft was an Aliens versus Predator versus Space Marines ripoff, and I was trying to say I've always heard that it was a Warhammer 40K ripoff because you've got like the guys in StarCraft look a lot like Space Marines, and then you've got the Zerg which are a lot like Gene Stealers, and the Protoss are a lot like those space elves that I was talking about. So, or maybe the Tau. But anyway, this looks really awesome. This looks like what I want.
Yeah,
it's like a third person guy just shooting a gajillion dudes.
Yeah. It's funny. It's like the opposite of the Alone in the Dark thing, where like Alone in the Dark was all like, look at these people standing in a stagnant room and chit-chatting with each other. And this one's like, the Space Marine's going to kill an alien with a chainsaw.
Like, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm already excited.
Yeah. Can I pre-order?
So, yeah, looking good. Can't wait. Can't wait. Let's see. From there, we had a 2-minute trailer for Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader. This is like a tactical XCOM style game where you play as like a rogue trader. You play as like somebody who's unaffiliated with any of the big they have those. It seems like they have so many classes of people that you're gonna fit into one of them. Well, the cool thing is that what they talk about in here is that you've got like a motley crew of like, you've got like unlicensed psychers or like disgraced Empire guys. And they even show like, here's an ultramarine that was like, their whole chapter was destroyed and then they're like gonna join up with you. That's kind of neat. So like, you know what I really like, Amanda? What? A ragtag band. Yeah. I like a ragtag band of whatever. Yeah, like group of misfits, baby. Yep. Taking over the galaxy. Yep. And so this is like a turn-based thing. Mm-hmm. But what's really cool about this is they also show, like, it's also got a space combat thing because you're driving your rogue trader like space thing around. I don't know what that was, but it hurt my brain. That was chaos. That makes sense. Those are Necrons. Those are those assholes. Those are my boys that I was talking about. Yeah. Fucking Necrons. Space elves. And, do they all have cone heads? What's going on with that? Yeah, they were like spiky helmets. Yeah, they like long heads. And then and then they're like, and also there's a dark serpent dog forces out there, and that it's like guy stabbed himself. It's chaos. It's chaos. It's always fucking chaos. Dogs and cats living together. There's some chaos. There's some chaos. Yeah. Those are Nurgles. That's chaos. That guy's got a moon head. He's like a Nightbreed. Yeah. And those are just Diablos. So it's us, Diablos, not affiliated with Diablo. And apparently your characters can like succumb to chaos. So there's some interesting stuff going on in here. In fact, I think this guy at the end, just to fill in the blanks, even though people watching this can't see. Yeah. I think that's the guy that's Horus, the guy that killed the Emperor that succumbed to chaos. I think that's who I was talking about. But gross. I know too much about Warhammer now, Jeff. I know. We're not even done yet. I have to unlearn all of this. After I leave, I'm going to get drunk until I forget all the things I just learned. Oh, God. If you figure that out, let me know how that works. So many things I want to forget. What's the right cocktail for I don't want to know this much about Warhammer either, for God's sake. So there's a closed beta that's going on right now. I don't know why. I guess there might be some kind of multiplayer component to it, or maybe it's just feedback for the single-player game. Who knows? But I don't. That was one, Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader. And then from there, we got a game called Warhammer Age of Sigmar Realms of Ruin, which this is like back in the old Warhammer, but it's not the same time period as the real-time strategy game. Mm-hmm. Age of Sigmar is its own thing, apparently, according to this thing. Its own thing meaning like it's a different timeline or different time in the same timeline? I think different time in the same timeline. Okay. I think like further down. Like, do they do the different timeline thing? Is this... Well, because that'll drop me right out of it, because that shit bothers the fuck out of me. Old medieval Warhammer and Warhammer 40K take place in the same universe 40,000 years away from each other. This, I think, just takes place further forward from old Warhammer, but not like anywhere near the Space Marine stuff. It's actually a spectrum. No, where do you fall in the Warhammer spectrum? I don't know. This is a PS5 game, and like there's this lady, and she got the gold armor, and it's supposed to be like a real-time strategy game that's going to be on the consoles. I don't really know much more than that, because... So this is more like knights with stabbies and hammers and shit versus technology. Right. None technology. Except there appears to be a lot of magic. I mean, there's like, bright lights and stuff. But yes, there aren't machine guns. Well, there might be like, I don't know, dwarves with blunderbusses or something like that. But like, yes, this is... Dwarves with Blunderbuss is actually my favorite nu metal album. So there you go. Yeah. So not much more. This was just a cinematic trailer, and it looks kind of cool. I've never been as big a fan of. I just don't like medieval in general, so less.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be a PlayStation real-time strategy game. I'm also never been a big fan of real-time strategy on the consoles.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like a mouse and a keyboard for that. So, yeah.
Realm shattering.
There's going to be more in June. There's going to be actual gameplay in June.
God damn.
So, but I saved the best for last, just for you, Amanda.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is the one that I feel like might be the most up your alley.
Muppets. Warhammer 40K Fluffy Edition.
This is called Warhammer 40K Speed Freaks.
Oh, shit.
And it's basically just Twisted Metal.
Oh, my God.
But with the orcs. With the orcs of the Warhammer universe. Driving around their dumb-looking thingies.
Hell yeah.
And blasting on each other.
Oh, my God.
Blowing stuff up. Which
was one of them in a pirate ship car?
Yeah, kind of.
Oh my God!
They got like dune buggies and like trikes and pirate ships.
Oh yeah, this is 100% Twisted Metal.
Yeah,
like this is great.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Considering that actually there might have been one more that I forgot to talk about, but there's another franchise when it comes to Warhammer, which is called Blood Bowl, which is basically like combat football that they play in this universe.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun.
So, but yeah, this looks fun as hell.
Yeah.
Just driving around and blasting stuff.
Why is freaks spelled with 2 E's?
Because they're orcs. They don't know nothing about spelling. They know about going fast and blowing shit up.
I know how to murder. That's it.
They had a guy that was steering the missile from on top of the missile when it got shot.
Yeah, that's how you make sure it hits who you want it to hit.
Yeah. But yeah, this looks fun.
Yeah, it'll look like a blast.
So, yeah, good showing, Warhammer. I mean,
gross, Warhammer. Stop it. I don't want to be a fan. Oh, God, I don't have enough problems.
Yeah. Well, okay.
John won't love me anymore if I get into Warhammer 40K.
Well, I'm sure that there are a lot of people that will, though.
You can't put that shit on your divorce papers.
I think the courts will legally recognize
irreconcilable differences. You'd check Warhammer 40K.
Yeah. Granted. Immediately. Yeah. Okay. Well, how about something that you can like for real, Sos?
Yeah.
We got the teaser for Devolver Directs. For the Devolver Direct.
Needless to say, I'm excited.
The return of Volvi. That mascot that's been around in Devolver Digital
You
for
all
years.
remember. Yeah, Devolver Digital is just going to gaslight us.
Yep. And he's like a rat with one giant hand.
Yeah, it's his gaming hand. His hand, it's just large because it's his gaming hand.
And then they show a bunch of Devolver games with Volvi in them and what look like old advertisements. And this is awesome. Yeah. I can't wait to see.
I really hope there's some DLC thing that he's just in every game.
It would not surprise me.
Yeah.
It would not surprise me one bit. Because
I'll replay Cult of the Lamb if it means that I can play with Volvi.
Let's see. I recognize that's the Sludge Life, I think. That is Terra Nil.
Yeah. We played that. Yeah,
the restoration game.
I really like that game. That's Cult of the Lamb.
Broforce. Hotline Miami, and then there's just some live action stuff.
John's like, I really want. That looks like Cuphead to me. John was like, I really hope that they sell that toy because you know how they always do the here's a random fucking shirt or whatever. They straight up have a Volvi toy.
Yeah. A plastic Volvi with a big hand.
Yeah. And if you're in the Discord, you know that I may or may not be getting a tattoo soon of Volvi. So we'll see how that goes.
There you go. Yeah, this is great. I'm glad. You know what? I'm glad that there's something new happening.
Yeah.
I thought the last one was okay.
It's... I don't know. I kind of like the gaming singularity, though.
I liked the one before that a lot, where it turns out...
the RoboCop one?
No, that was the one that was after that, where they were in the Devolver headquarters where they had the chili dogs.
Yeah, okay.
And Nina kept getting vaccinated. There was the two big greased up
That's
people.
Right. I forgot about that.
Sleeves off and
yeah.
That was great. That was one where they sold the jacket. That was the Devolver Direct or the Devolver pass, the like not Game Pass. It was like and it was like, oh, for $0 you could buy. That was the one that had the non-fuckwithable tape.
Oh, that's
where
right.
She breaks the thing off.
Yeah.
And you're gonna sell one non-fuckwithable tape. I'm only here for the gimmicks. So as good as the gimmicks are,
same. I absolutely adore that they're just like this one. This year is just going to be mascots from back in the day.
Yep.
You know, the mascot you know and love.
And I love the fact that they've made this thing both incredibly horrifying and instantaneously recognizable.
Yeah. Yes. It's great.
Now that I know that Volvi is a thing, I will be able to recognize it just from this dumb silhouette.
Yeah. With this one giant gaming hand.
Yep. And that's coming on June 8th as part of Summer Games Fest. So next week, a week from today, actually.
Yeah. Well, not today for you guys, today for us.
Yes. Yeah. There's also some other stuff in their Twitter announcement. Like somebody had a shirt, a Volvi shirt.
Oh.
That I don't know if that's going to be a thing. It looks like a comic book cover. And there was also a giant
Volvi hand.
Yeah. My big hand is for gaming. And it's just like a big foam hand.
God,
so yeah, I'm gonna definitely. I'm glad I didn't buy anything for Memorial Day because I'm gonna spend all my money on the dumb shit Devolver puts out.
And the store is open now. We're gonna be like, great, because you're gonna buy whatever that is.
I still have my Game Pass or whatever shirt that I bought, and it's still in a package.
I think John bought some shirt from them too.
Oh, I also got The Devil Kissed My Wife, Demon Throttle. I got Demon Throttle as well.
That's the shirt John got.
Yeah. Let's see. In other gaming news, we got the RGG Summit.
What's RGG?
RGG is Ryu Gotoku Studio.
I regret asking.
it's Yakuza.
Yeah.
It's the Yakuza devs.
Okay.
Actually, what that means is like a dragon, like it translates to like a dragon, which is why the latest Yakuza was subtitled like a dragon, and why moving forward, the next one is just called like a dragon. It's not even called Yakuza anymore.
Oh.
So yes, June 16th they are having a big live stream. Almost certainly this is going to be talking about Like a Dragon 8 as well as the Yakuza Gaiden. Is that what they're calling that one?
Beep ba ba da da.
Like a Dragon Gaiden. So they're just full on Like a Dragon, which is supposed to be the interquel.
Is it just because they're getting like the characters and stuff are branching away from the Yakuza, and so they're like, we don't really want to restrict ourselves with that name?
I think so. I mean, I think that it's,
maybe it's like negative connotation in a way that they just don't want to.
It could be. I mean, I think that it's weird that like it's called Like a Dragon in Japan. And it was only branded as Yakuza in Western releases. Oh. So I think
that actually might even be more of a reason to not have it.
Yeah.
You're just like Yakuza because I don't know. That's all white people will know,
right? I'm sure that some executive over here like made that call.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm very torn because Kiryu Kazama's back, and that dude's like 60 in that franchise, and so I would rather they gave him a nice send off at the end of Yakuza 6.
No, they're like, psych, he's back.
And now it's like, oh no, what has he been up to since then? And it's like, oh, okay. I don't know, because they brought in the new guy. They brought in a fresh new face to be the new face of the franchise. I thought he did a really good job in Yakuza 7, so Like a Dragon. So I really wish they would have stuck with that instead of being like, we're going to drag your favorites back out of retirement yet again and slap them in 2 new games.
What if they murder him?
I would not believe that he stayed murdered unless 10 years with no new games with him in them came out because he's been shot and left for dead in the games before. And guess what happens next time? Oh, in the back 30% of the game, look who showed up. It's Kiryu Kazama.
What if they cut his head off? What if they like...
I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't believe it.
His head could go back.
Would believe it.
Then you just end up with 2 of him. One that a giant head and a tiny body that grew from the head, and the other one with big head, body, and tiny head.
He would show up in the next one with just sewed his head back on. He's so goddamn tough. They just sewed his head back onto his body.
They wouldn't even explain it. He would just have the like big Frankenstein stitches across his neck, and it's just like, I got better somehow, and everyone just allowed that to happen.
He was a grandpa in Yakuza 6. Like, there was a mini game where you were carrying around your granddaughter and she would cry and you would have to shake the controller to pacify.
That's cute.
And I'm just like, let this man retire, for God's sake.
I just want him to be happy.
Let this person who doesn't exist, let him just go.
That's funny.
Live with the orphans. But I mean, sure, I'm going to fucking play all of them. I'm not going to not play them. It's not like
make sure he gets through the next adventure.
It's not like if I refuse to play those games that they're going to be like, yeah, I could see Jeff from RageSelect makes a good point. We need to make sure to, like, use less popular guy in the newer games. So,
fine.
Speaking of games that aren't going to be coming out anytime soon, Naughty Dog put out a statement last week. We had the Sony PlayStation Showcase 2023.
Yeah.
And one of the things that people were expecting to see was potentially Naughty Dog has been working on a multiplayer shooter, like a standalone multiplayer thing set in the Last of Us universe.
Yeah.
It's not even a secret. Like, they announced that they're doing it. So everybody's asking, like, well, where the fuck is it? And they just put out a statement basically saying, like,
we regret telling you anything.
Right.
Stop
they
asking
need more
us
time to work on it. And yeah.
This is why I have issues with announcing things.
Yes.
Because they announce and then people go, we don't want you guys to crunch or give us an arbitrary like date to look forward to. But when is it? When's it coming out? When's it coming out? How come you haven't released it yet? And it's just like, that's why we have to not tell you guys anything, because you guys become dicks.
Yep. There is one.
Not that I want a fucking multiplayer shooter from The Last of Us, but you know, if you do, maybe don't harass them so they can spend more time doing that shit, you know?
There was also a report from Bloomberg. I hadn't heard this before that said, that was kind of released around the same time, that said that this game has been scaled back after a recent evaluation, and that part of the reason...
evaluation was nobody wants it?
Well, look, just to be clear, there was a multiplayer component to the first Last of Us, and it did have a very dedicated fan base.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Last of Us has its own.
Yeah. So it makes a certain amount of sense. I think that it's just, it seems to me like they might be in some kind of development hell where they've now pulled people off that project and they're putting them on to, like, whatever their next single player game is.
Yeah.
And they're just like, whoever's left, you're going to finish this. It's going to take more time, but we're not going to devote a gajillion resources to something that we know is not going to make us very much money when it comes out.
Yeah.
So,
this kind of game sounds more like it serves as goodwill towards your fan base and not building new fans or like getting new money. This is just keeping you guys happy.
There's also been some of the code words that we hear a lot where it's just like, oh, no, it expands the lore. And like, there's, so much to explore. And it's like, I don't,
That's like video game Mad Libs.
Well,
you just like insert those words into everything.
I've seen that happen before, but like, who gives a shit? Like, nobody cares about like the log that you pick up about, the first days of the fucking fungus pandemic.
I figure if it's an add-on like the multiplayer, I would assume it does have people that really want it, because the only people that would play that are the dedicated Last of Us fans, right?
Yes, and just to be clear, I'm not the biggest Last of Us fan, and I do recognize that there are a lot of people from which this is like their favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
Uncritically, like head and shoulders above. No video game could come close to The Last of Us 1 or 2. They were both perfect goddamn video games. I played them all 100 times, and I would sure as shit play the multiplayer because I love the franchise so much. I am not one of those people.
Yeah,
so...
yeah, that's why it's like, to me, it feels like a waste of resources, but like, you guys, you want what you want, so do that.
I also am a big fan of... I don't want these companies to get locked into just making the same game over and over again.
Yeah.
Like, I think Uncharted was a huge breath of fresh air, and I love to see what Naughty Dog does next.
Yeah.
Not more Last of Us, not more Uncharted, just like,
new.
what's your original idea? What do you want to do? You do whatever. You got a blank check.
Yeah.
I will go out and buy it. So,
Uncharted meets Last of Us. We get to see how what's his face handles zombies.
Nathan Drake.
Yeah. It's a Nathan Drake zombie game.
Who would win in a really brutal fist fight between Nathan Drake and Ellie from the Last of Us.
I know who I think would win.
So let's see. In other news, in games that you can get right now, there's a little bit of a controversy in the Street Fighter 6 community. So this is actually, I had absolutely no idea this was happening until today. Street Fighter 6 has done something, and at first this might seem like to say what. So if you look up here, this is an online versus match, and on this side you've got an icon that indicates wireless, and on this side you've got a bar that indicates wired, like wired connection strength.
Yeah.
This is not something that has been done in the past, and specifically it's because wireless connections tend to be less good than wired connections, and so there's a lot of like ire built up in the fighting game community because it's so latency dependent on people using wireless to play fighting games. Like people will get shat on. Now, so what's happening here is that this was announced, or people noticed this, and then the first thing that happened was they were like, Jesus, Capcom, please don't give people a reason
to be mean to me,
to be shitty to me, because by showing them my status,
especially in Street Fighter. If you've ever seen people competitive Street Fighter, it's horrifying.
Yes,
that's like next level shit.
And then part of the response from the, I guess, the wired side of the community is like, well, no, I want to know if you're playing with shit-ass internet, to which has been responded like, that was a long time ago. Like, the current wireless V6 internet protocols are way fast enough to deal with fucking Street Fighter, and there's a V7 coming out this year. Like, this isn't the same as it used to be. It used to be that if you're running over Wi-Fi, you had crappy internet. But nowadays, like... Somebody said, I've got fiber coming into my wireless router that's in the same room as my console. There is no problem with my connection speed. So it's a big fight over a bunch of stupid shit.
That's weird. It makes sense that it would be happening within the Street Fighter community, though.
Sure.
If you know the Street Fighter community.
I guess the thing that I don't understand is
ravenous.
Why would you put that in the game? Why not just put connection strength, right? You just put a bar. Like, why designate
but why
between
do I need
Wi-Fi
to know
or not
their
Wi-Fi?
connection strength?
Because with fighting games in specific,
like, so do you have control over?
Like, you could
only allow me to be connected with people that are also wired, or only allow people with a certain strength of internet connection, or...
I don't think so. I don't think there's a preference. I think it's more just like, if you want to... I mean, like, I don't know. I guess it's been a thing for a long time. Where, like, when I was playing Counter-Strike back in, like, the early aughts, you could pull up a scoreboard and see people's ping rate. It's just kind of like dealing with the connection speed. I could see a case where it could be, like... If you have a really shitty internet connection, I want to know that. I don't want to waste my time trying to fight you, because if your connection is dog shit, then I'm just going to bamf out of that. Like, I'm not even going to bother because...
Spoiled! You're all spoiled! Back Back in my day, you would take whatever fucking online competition you could. Shit was laggy as fuck.
Yep.
Then you would just move on to the next battle. You all are babies.
See, I had a perfect solution for how to play Street Fighter with no lag.
Yeah.
The arcade.
Yeah.
Like you go physically stand next to an actual human being.
You don't know how slow my brain can be. Plenty of lag. In-person lag is worse than online lag.
Yeah. Let's see. In other online controversies, this is one that I don't entirely understand, but I'm going to talk about it anyway, as is my want.
As is the RageSelect motto.
Damn right. Because a lot of this has to do with leagues. So,
For what?
for Legends. League of Legends.
Leagues of Legends.
League of Legends has esports leagues, right?
Right. Yeah,
like
yeah.
a North American league, they have like a Chinese league, and like a European league, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And they are the ones that play the game competitively. Riot Games just came out and basically said that they are they're cutting the number of people that they're allowing in the North American League from 16 teams to 7 teams.
Why?
So I read this article, and I don't really know, but this is as near as I could tell what it is that the North American League has so many players, coaches, teams, alternates, et cetera, that it's not like the league itself is not able to independently operate financially. Like they require subsidies from Riot to keep this league going. Riot has said that in other regions, like the European League and the Chinese League and things like this, those tier 2 leagues are able to operate self-sufficiently. They don't require any extra money. And part of it is the idea that there's just like so many people in the United States that want to be part of these leagues, and like the LCS Players Association is like a unionized esports league.
Yeah.
And that like because they have that collective bargaining power, that they're able to make what Riot Games considers to be unreasonable requests for financial support, for, again, the number of players. Apparently there's a lot of like guest slots and stuff that happen where you'll have like people that are able to kind of wander into larger competitions based on like kind of informal team swapping between the lower leagues and the higher leagues. See, this is why I don't understand it entirely. It starts to get a little bit off the rails. But the basics here is that League of Legends is axing 9 of the teams in North America. The LCS Player Association has taken a vote and is now striking. They're basically doing a virtual walkout for the North American Championships, which are getting ready to come up in the next couple of weeks. This is one of those things where every so often I definitely need to get outside of my wheelhouse and just, complaining about fucking Microsoft, right?
Yeah.
And go read one of these because it's like the LCS PA put out this statement. Then like the next thing down on the list is they put out another statement where they were like talking about scab players, because the thing is that like they're saying that like we're all going to boycott. We're not going to play in this until Riot agrees to some of our demands.
Yeah.
But like there are certain teams that are like, well, I don't give a shit. So like if the players won't play, I'm going to go get some fucking lower ranked guys that will play, because if everybody's gone, we can field a team of like second stringers that are just as good and qualify for like part of this.
Interesting. This is so dramatic. This is like you could make one like they're doing all these weird over dramatic like Tetris movie and shit like that. You could make some sort of workers strike. Dramatic movie. If the writers weren't also on strike, they could write this movie.
Well, but see, then Riot came back and they basically said, we've pushed the North American tournament for 2 weeks. And in those 2 weeks, we will be talking with the LCSPA. If we cannot come to a resolution in those 2 weeks, we're going to cancel the entire North American kind competition, like the whole thing from top to bottom.
Yeah.
And no teams from North America will be allowed in the like World Cup, basically, of League of Legends.
Wow.
Like you can all just go fucking sit and spin, which I think is kind of an interesting. It's an interesting move. I know that Riot makes a lot of fucking money, and like they've been putting out other games. They've got the TV show. They've got Valorant, which is like their own Counter-Strike game, which is very popular. Has its own esports scene.
Wow.
But like, I don't know. I can't evaluate because I don't know the structure of how. Like, if I knew how professional sports leagues worked, or even like amateur sports leagues, I might be able to comment on this more. But like, I don't even know how those work. Like, one of the things that the LCSPA wanted was like the ability to have sponsorships. And Riot Games was like, we've never said you can't have sponsorships. All the teams that we're talking about, they're self-sufficient. They all run on sponsorships. Get all the sponsorships you want. We don't give a shit. But then like another thing that the LCSPA demands was that like they wanted Riot Games to commit to a revenue pool for player salaries of $300,000 per team per year. At which point Riot was like, we can't that would bankrupt us as a company. Like there's no way that we can afford. You've got like all these teams, and every one of them is going to get $300,000 a year guaranteed, regardless of whether they're like garbage or what they do. You know, if they just sit around on their asses, they just get paid $300,000 a year because they're signed up with this thing. So it's a really interesting situation. I feel like a lot of times when it comes to union talk, like I'm usually very pro union, but I think that like
they might be a little abusive in this.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, the thing is that...
Are they like doing the negotiation thing of like asking for way too much so that when they meet in the middle, they're getting more what they want, but they like push too hard? Bankrupt yourselves to pay for all of our things. They're like, yeah, that's not even feasible.
It's possible. The problem is I don't know.
Because then they go, actually, okay, what if 300,000, but we will lower down to 10? Do you know what I mean? Like, so then all of a sudden Riot has agreed to, I don't think they will, because if they're not doing that with any of the other,
like here's like they responded on their website, and like here's one of the things that the players wanted was Riot guaranteed LCS minimum contracts for the following year for 5 players who win NACL summer finals. And their response was, guaranteed LCS contracts for winners are a necessary component of a healthy developmental league. LCS teams are in the best position to decide who should get a shot. We will continue to discuss initiatives to connect LCS to the North American League players like we have in place with scouting grounds. I'm just like, I don't know what this means, man. Like
those are all words, but I don't understand them.
And I don't know who to root for because like, the thing is that I also don't know. I think this is something that maybe I should just make people aware of. Then you guys can go do your own research, or
if you already know, go in the comments and let us know. I learned all the lore for Warhammer 40K. Maybe I can learn all the lore for the League of Legends legal worker union drama.
Right, because the thing is that I also think that there's a part of me that looks as like you guys you're playing League of Legends for a living.
Yeah, but like.
I know I don't have any room to talk, right? But like the idea that it's just like our rights are being stripped from us, and this is a humanitarian crisis, and I'm like, you guys play a MOBA like for a living, and
right? But but then you could easily be. You guys play baseball for a living?
I kind of think that.
Okay.
Like, but the thing is that I don't know how to get around that. Like I've built up over the years. You know, when people talk about like, oh yeah, I like to play basketball on the weekend, I don't just like knock the drinks off the table and say, what a fucking waste of time. Why don't you go study math or something? Fucking asshole.
I've seen you do it, Jeff.
Like I'm trying to be a shit bag, but by the same token, it's hard for me to divorce my knee jerk reaction being like, you want $300,000 a year to play a MOBA
per team. How many people are on a team?
That also I don't like 5 to 10 maybe. I don't know. So.
Yeah, I mean, because then it's like, do they have?
I don't know.
Like people beyond just the players? Is it like there's
I know there's coaches and at
right.
Least,
so
right?
Then if there's that, then it adds, and if there's like so many people and you divide 300,000, maybe that's like livable wage within the United States. But like, I genuinely don't know.
I don't know either. But you know what?
I'm the least educated person.
We are out of time, and we still got a shitload of stories left to go.
Yeah, we do.
But we're gonna go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're gonna put on the afterburners like we do in part 2.
Oh hell yeah!
And start going through all these stories. I sometimes wish I wonder if there's people that listen to the RageSelect podcast and are just like, oh man, I really wish you guys had talked about that story in the first part when you guys are all leisurely before it's like, I gotta get through all these stories. I gotta get through them.
This is happening and it's bad. This is happening and it's good. And they're like, I want more.
Yeah. Anyway,
see you soon.
See you in a minute.
Here we are.
And it's time for more news. Let's see. First up, we got some Blizzard news. Overwatch 2 is doing a Pride Month thing.
Nice.
So this is a bunch of new skins.
Pride Month.
And they say they're gonna be a lot more
These
explicit.
skins are gonna be so gay.
Well, part of it is a bunch of flags, and then they have like a bunch of the levels now have like a parade, a pride parade just got done in them type of thing.
That's fun.
They're going to be a lot more explicit about like actually surfacing the sexuality of a bunch of their different characters.
Huh.
Like because
we knew that Tracer
yeah
was gay.
Tracer and Soldier 76 are both gay.
I didn't know Soldier 76 was gay.
Yep.
He's a gay man?
Yep. And then they got the new guy, that Lifeweaver guy that's supposed to be like Pan. And then they announced that Baptiste is bi and Farah's gay as well or something.
Okay.
The thing is that like, okay, listen, I don't care. Fucking put the rainbows on everything. I don't care.
Hell yeah.
But part of me not caring is also me being like, I don't
want to
care.
know. Yeah, like I don't need to know.
I don't read the comics. I just play the games. Like it's not like I'm gonna be like, oh, I used to main Soldier 76, but now that I found out that he's gay, I'm gonna fucking play as another guy.
Yeah.
But by the same token, I don't know. I guess it's fine. Like I like
I don't mind.
Do whatever. I guess.
Sure.
Yeah. I am a little bit miffed though.
Yeah.
Not that this is happening. Again, to make sure you guys, I don't give a shit. Like do whatever you want to. But last week or the week before was when we got the news that they canceled the entire single player campaign from Overwatch 2. And part of this is like is my ongoing thing. We're gonna get to this in a second with Mr. Kodak.
Oh yeah.
Is like, can you guys just like chill? Like
the answer is no.
Like entirely. Can I just have a week where there's no
Blizzard
nothing?
News?
There's no nothing happening. Can you guys just like make some games and then just like chill?
Yeah.
Just chill.
Yeah.
Or like if you said you were going to make a single player campaign for Overwatch 2, could you do that?
Yeah, just do it.
Like I know you're like a multi-gajillion-dollar company, right?
Yeah.
Like come on.
What the fuck else are you guys doing right now?
Just putting rainbows on the streets.
Well, I mean, hell
which is fine, but like
I'm into it.
So
rainbows are cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Now I have to find out all the ones that are bisexual.
Let me make sure. Let me make sure that I did this right. Let's see. Baptiste is bi and Farah's a lesbian. So that's the
Farah's a lesbian.
This group is like all of the queer characters, right? So you got Lifeweaver.
They're not going to be like the robot guy is Ace and the.
Dude, I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? Like they get really into it. The gorilla's aromantic.
I find it best in the year 2023 to be like, you guys do whatever. This is none of my fucking business. Yeah. Like, my name is Paul, and that's between y'all. Like, I don't care. I had a teacher for a long time, the guy that taught me animation, who was gay, and I kind of got the impression, but like I didn't know. And then one time he told me, and I was like, yeah, okay.
Did you act surprised? What?
And he was like, well, did you never ask? And I was like, that would be rude.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
care.
I'm not gay, so like.
That's the funny thing, right? Like, if you're gay, we are both men.
Yep.
And I am not gay, so it doesn't matter because nothing would happen.
The answer wouldn't mean anything to me.
If you're straight, it doesn't matter because I am a man and we wouldn't go out. So what does it matter? Like romantically, that's not going to happen either way. So it doesn't matter.
None of my beeswax.
Funny how that works.
None of my beeswax. Let's see. We also got the news in other Blizzard news that Diablo 4 is coming out and they've got a brand new thing that's happening.
Yeah.
So Diablo 4 is being released. The first 1,000 fans to hit level 100 in hardcore mode, permadeath mode. If you submit your proof that you've done that to Blizzard, you will get your like username like engraved on the side of this big sculpture of the demon lady that's like the big bat. So yeah, first 1,000 people, goes on until sometime in September. Get to level 100, post it to Twitter, and they'll put your username on this lady.
That's dangerous, just because I know what you deviants use as usernames. So,
well, actually, there is a controversy, but it doesn't have anything to do with that. It's got a lot more to do with a few other things. So, first off, there's some people who are like, y'all had a lot of people that were in that open beta that you had, and like while their progress is being reset, those people have a lot of experience on how to like tear ass through the first act of the game, which was what that open beta was.
Yeah.
So like, how about that? You know, there's people who have like a potentially unfair advantage.
Is it unfair? It's an open beta. Like if it was a closed beta, it'd be like, okay, that's fair. But so you're saying these people seized the opportunity of which I also had and did not take, therefore it's unfair?
Yes.
Is it?
The one that is a little bit more that holds a little bit more water, in my opinion, is Diablo's got that thing where if you buy the collector's edition, you get to start playing the game 4 days early. So like $20, and you get to $20 extra on top of the actual cost of the game.
Yeah.
And you get a big head start on people. Which, okay, I could see that a little bit too.
Yeah, that one I can see a little more, but also like, what a great way for a company to try to get you guys to feel bad about not buying it and paying a little early.
Absolutely. Another controversy is in the rules. It says that if you got to play the game before the official release date, you are disqualified. So any like influencers or people that got the game ahead of time, right out. So
I mean, also that's kind of fair.
And then there's also a bunch of people who are like, I have a job, and I don't like.
So the I have a job thing.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
Because like, I can't win the marathon because I have a job. I can't just go. Yeah, right. Exactly. I'm sorry you can't, but like that is literally the point.
At the end of the day, there has to be a cutoff somewhere. Yeah. Well, actually, okay, I'm of two minds about this. One is you have a fucking username on a statue that you don't even. It's not even in your house. Yeah. You didn't even get one. It's just on a statue somewhere. Fucking buy a rock and like put your name on it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Your prize, you're not missing out on a $300,000 prize cup. You're missing out on having your name engraved on a statue on the Blizzard campus that you never get to see. Yeah. On the other hand, I also don't think that it would have been that big of a deal to be like 1 week into after the game has been released, we're going to have a little special menu option that says, I want to take part in this. Go. Because I know that Blizzard does have like in Diablo, they'll have like seasonal heroes where you create a new hero, but you check mark like for this one season or something like that. So like if they were going to do this, they could have done a thing where it's just like, I want to make a hardcore hero and I want to enter this contest. And
did
then like,
they know they were going to do this though? You know, maybe this was like, maybe this will drive up some more people to play a little more and you know what I mean? Like, because this kind of reeks of, we thought it would be fun for you guys, and then everyone gets all fucking caught up on technicalities.
Sure. I get that, but this is part of what I'm talking about, where it's just like, if you're doing this in the last second, don't do this. Do this as a season 2. Like at the beginning of season 2, we're going to do this. We're going to get all of our ducks in a row.
Fair. Yeah.
Instead of just being like, well, we're a multi-million-dollar company, but I don't know what the fuck we're doing. Like, we're just.
Well, in fairness, like you said, and I'm not here to fucking defend. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Sure.
But In fairness to them, though, like you said, it is just usernames on the side of a statue. So maybe they were like, it's like a fun little thing. Like, we don't have to put a lot of thought or whatever into it. It'll keep this season a little more exciting for the moment, and then it'll launch us perfectly into season 2 or whatever. And then instead, everyone's like, but unfair.
Yeah,
it's not fair.
This goes back to that thing I was talking about with, like, maybe you just don't do this shit so that there's not another news story that has the word Blizzard at the top of it. Like, maybe you just, like, launch Diablo 4 and quietly fix any bugs that come up. And don't be like, oh, we have a new campaign for the launch of Diablo 4. We're going to shoot babies out of a cannon at the side of a building. And they're live babies. Nobody wants these babies. We bought these babies. They're our babies. And it's just like, maybe just settle down. Release your fucking game.
Yeah.
Just do your thing.
Yeah.
Like,
maybe like a little quiet reflection is necessary.
We
guys.
just shut the fuck up. Just for a little while.
Just like
let's see. In other Activision Blizzard, well, Microsoft. Activision Blizzard. This is Activision. They're all tied up in my head. Variety put out they put fucking Bobby Kotick on the cover of Variety.
Yeah.
And I read this article.
Oh yeah.
Oh fucking boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah, it didn't. Just based on the cover and the comments, we had a little. I didn't join it, but there was in the Discord a bit of a discussion about this article.
Yeah. So
didn't seem nice.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
You know whose name I know when it comes to upper management at Activision?
Bobby Kotick.
Right. You know how many of the names of the board of directors of Activision I know? 0.
Nunzio.
This piece.
Yeah.
This piece is like, isn't Bobby Kotick really smart? Look how much money he's made for Activision. And there's, you know what? Like, I sometimes look at all the bad workplace environment stuff and go, you know, Bobby Kotick is the CEO of the company.
Yeah.
Like, it's entirely possible that he didn't know anything. Like, yeah, he yelled at that lady and told her he would kill her on the plane. And like,
but who hasn't done that
He
before?
seems like a huge jerk off, like a huge fucking white dude CEO jerk off guy, right? It's entirely possible though that he didn't know what was happening in the fucking QA labs down at Raven Software. Yeah. Whatever. But this whole thing licks his taint like he's the visionary genius who has made Activision Blizzard. But the thing is that what I fucking don't like about this is that what he's done is made them money.
Yeah.
That's what he's done. He doesn't do anything. Like, he will approve a project, but like they talk about his visionary leadership, like octupling like the value of Activision. But like, I look at Activision and like, they used to make a lot of different games.
Yeah.
And now they make one game.
Yeah.
Call of Duty. That is all they fucking make. They took Toys for Bob and made them work on Warzone. They canceled Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 remaster and put those devs on working on Warzone.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening over at Blizzard? Their management is gutted. They're just like churning out Diablo Immortal and fucking Diablo 4 and like all the things that can make money. And they bought King, the Candy Crush people.
Yeah.
The thing is that if you can make a company a lot of money, that doesn't make you a visionary genius. Most of the things in this world that make a lot of money are dick things.
Yeah.
They suck. Like, the things that make a lot of money suck. You know what makes a lot of money? The pharmaceutical industry. And they suck.
Yeah.
The real estate industry. And they suck.
Yeah.
The banking industry. Lots of money gets made, but we're all not like, you know who I love? Bankers.
Yeah.
They rule. You know who I like? Lawyers. And you know why? Because they make so much money. That must make them awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck you, Bobby Kotick. Like,
yeah.
You know.
I mean, but it's Variety.
Right. Well, sure. Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes. It's just the shit in here, the absolute gall. He's like, my mother's a teacher and she's in a union, and I was in a union when I worked I was on Moneyball, and I was in SAG-AFTRA. I don't have a problem with unions. I have a problem with unions when they're attempting to destroy your company. And I'm just like, fuck you. No, fuck you. Like, you hired a union busting firm. Your problem wasn't with the specific dictates of the unions that were forming.
Yeah.
Like, I watched unions form in other video game sectors that just like had a vote and went through. And I watched every week by week, constant systematic roadblocks being set up every single step of the way by management to try to bust that shit up. Like the only reason they let those people walk out was because they were hoping that by letting them blow off steam that they weren't going to fucking unionize. And like they wanted to make every like section of the company vote as a block instead of just like letting QA vote. It was like the entire Call of Duty team has to agree to unionize.
Yeah.
Like Bobby Kotick is a scumbag, and I don't have a lot of sympathy for him in these like humanizing pieces because that bitch is rich.
Yeah.
Fucking go away. Like, you know what? You know how to get me to stop talking about Bobby Kotick? Retire.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I'm just waiting for the Microsoft deal. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what you want.
Yeah.
Retire now. Fuck off.
But
like,
if he waits, he'll get that sweet bonus.
he gets that sweet bonus no matter what.
Yeah,
that guy motherfucker's got a golden parachute fucking stitched into his asshole. Like, you know.
But like, it doesn't even matter. He already has enough money for the rest of his fucking life.
Right. Over the years, every time they're just like, poor Bobby Kotick. And I'm like, no, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a rich guy and people are being mean to you, no sympathy whatsoever. Like, hey man, are you a person who doesn't have to worry about money and people on Twitter are being pissy with you?
Mm-hmm.
Log off of Twitter and enjoy your millions, motherfucker.
I don't fucking enjoy your private island.
Yeah. Like, go do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Most of us don't have the opportunity to do whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah.
Like,
it is kind of funny to be like, isn't it great that this guy took what is essentially a creative field and turned it into just dollar bill signs? And it's like, is it great? Do you feel good about what you said?
the main thing is just that, like, I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen it, where it used to be that Activision would put out like 3 or 4 games a year. And a lot of times it was like, okay, Skylanders, right, is just like a money machine, you know?
Yeah.
We're putting out Crash Bandicoot because it doesn't cost anything and those nerds will buy whatever, right? But like as it's gone on, it's just winnowed down further and further until it's just one thing.
Yeah.
And that one thing isn't even doing very well anymore. It's like the last Call of Duty single player was like panned, you know. In the article they talk about how like he had to make the tough calls, like canceling a Call of Duty game when it wasn't up to quality. I'm like, when the fuck did that happen?
Yeah.
Because near as I can tell, you've been able to put out a Call of Duty game every year regardless of how garbage they were and how much people didn't like them. Like every year.
Yeah, you stopped one Call of Duty game from coming out while also churning out as many other Call of Duty games as humanly possible.
Yeah. And as a company, they own so many interesting IPs that they could be doing stuff with. And yet, nope. So yeah, suck my dick, Bobby Kotick. you know how you can get me to stop talking? This is also the motherfucker that was just trying to buy Kotaku.
Oh,
like during all that bullshit.
I remember.
And he wanted to buy the media outlet that kept writing nasty stories about him. And it's like, you know who doesn't do that? Cool guys.
Yeah.
Like they just fucking go, hey man.
Did this accidentally become a hit against Elon Musk buying Twitter?
Fuck that guy too.
Yeah.
Like fuck him so hard. You know what? Like I'm sure everybody already knows that. But the other day I was online and I usually keep Facebook and Twitter and like the YouTube channel open just in browser tabs, just in case somebody like does something.
Just in case someone, just in case one of you assholes gets a little riley on the Twitter.
Damn right. And like the other day I was browsing through Twitter. I was just scrolling through Twitter and I was like, this sucks now.
Yeah.
Like I don't like follow a bajillion people, but it used to be that it was like I was just seeing like stuff from my friends and do whatever. And now I'm just like, oh, look, here's a bad take. Here's a far right-wing account. Here's a spoiler for a movie I haven't seen yet.
Yep.
Here's something that I'm just like genuinely like, this shouldn't be allowed on the internet. And I'm like, it used to just be that I could kind of scroll through Twitter to be like, hey, look, there's Cargill doing some writing fun stuff.
Yeah.
And there's like Brian Salisbury reposting something, and all those guys are just like, I'm out. Like, fuck this shit.
Yeah. Dude,
and they're like, half the time it doesn't even fucking work.
Yeah. It's a desolate wasteland, and I literally only use it to live tweet wrestling.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
So
that's how you keep up with wrestling. It's on Twitter.
Congratulations. Thank you very much, Mr. Musk, for taking away something that was kind of fun and throwing it into a bog.
The Bog of Eternal Stench.
Yeah. Let's see. In other acquisition business news, this is a rumor that's come up a few times that CD Projekt Red is going to get purchased by somebody. This week, the rumor was that it was Sony who was trying to buy them.
Oh.
This doesn't make a whole shitload of sense when it comes to the whole acquiring places, considering that CD Projekt Red puts like one single player game out every 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Right. They're not exactly like a big money investment. But then also apparently the PR person for CD Projekt Red was like, nah, bro, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
So also it should be noted that I think that people sometimes have get a little bit messed up. CD Projekt Red has made a metric fuck ton of money off of Cyberpunk 2077. Like that thing sold crazy well, and it didn't matter how broken it was. Everybody just bought it anyway.
Yeah.
So,
which is its own kind of concerning issue, but that's fine.
Yep. Let's see. In other Sony news, a bunch of fans found an ARG in the Marathon trailer that came out last week.
Oh.
So it's kind of crazy. Basically, like there were all these different these kind of like dots, these like green dots that were kind of on a background. And it came through like there were some in the trailer. There were some that were sent to influencers. There were some that creepy Twitter accounts were putting out. And then eventually this one guy put them into a thing. I didn't know this was a fucking thing, but he put the image into this thing that reads punch cards.
Wow.
And then like outputs from them. And then he tried looking through and he got some binary and he got some data. And then at the bottom, he got literally a URL that went to a page that had like this video document that was more about the new.
I just like the live stream you had on it was the guy was like,
oh yeah.
I'm totally shocked.
It's just
that's neat. ARGs, man.
Yeah. Well, also this new Marathon game is like a multiplayer PvE thing, and, or PvPvE. It's called
That's
extraction.
a lot of letters, dude.
it's called an extraction mode, where basically like when you loot stuff, and then like the more you loot, the higher your score is, and you can like cash out for a lower score. But if you get killed, you lose all of it, and so the longer you stay in, the higher the stakes are. It's kind of a new type of mode that's out there.
Cool.
I'm not a big fan of this because, well, I don't know. I was never going to be a big fan of PvP.
I was going to say, this is not going to be my kind of game no matter what. But
I love the art style. Like they had the trailer last week, and the art style was this very interesting kind of neon looking style.
Yeah.
So I wish it was for me, but not. But yeah, I went and watched this. It's got a lot more details on what exactly this game is about. It seems like there's some interesting stuff, like if a team puts together like a certain artifact, and it'll open up like a new map, and then like that map will have like the initials of the team that did it, like like moving forward, that they'll be like the world changes in specific ways, and that the like people that did it.
Okay, so at least the ARG kind of makes sense in that sense, that it it kind of has that same feel of what they want you to have during the game.
Mm-hmm.
But ARGs, man. You know what it is? I watch too many map pads. I watch too many game theories. I'm just like, fuck ARGs, dude. It's such a like, and then I raise the brightness, and then you can see in the background, and it's binary. You put the binary in, and it turns into a different code. You put that code into a filter, and then the filter goes, well, I don't know, and then I don't know. But then I ask somebody on the internet, it's like, I don't care.
Let's see. From there, we also got the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake announcement last year. Wow.
That's late news, Jeff.
At the PlayStation thing. This week we got an answer to a question that I was curious about.
Yeah.
All the dialogue and audio, or at least the dialogue, is going to be the dialogue from the original game. So they're not re-recording any of it. They're not bringing any of the voice actors back. And they don't appear to be doing any kind of supplemental recordings either, which means that this is probably going to be a very one-to-one, because I mean, like I guess they could add some like you pick up a note and it's got a sub objective on it, you know, type of thing. But like the main plot line is going to be the same.
Yeah.
And I really wanted that to happen because it means that you can't fuck around with the plot, right? If you were going to fuck around with the plot, you'd have to record new dialogue, right? Here you're limited as to what you can do.
Yeah.
So I'm happy about that because I mostly want this game to remain identical outside of making it look better.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that it's going to be a disappointment to some people. I'm sure that other people are going to be super fantastic. There was all that weirdness about the Resident Evil 4 voice casting lady and stuff, and I don't care about any of that, but I really wouldn't care if they wanted to go back and do this over again. I just want I mean, if they were going to do more, I just want David Hayter to come back as a big boss.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it every time this comes up.
Go on.
They better not change that part in the game where the general grabs Big Boss's dick because he's wearing a latex mask of his gay lover, and he grabs Snake's dick, and then he goes like, "What?" And then he grabs it a second time, and he's like, "You're not my boy toy," and he like rips the mask off, and he finds out by grabbing his dick that it's not the guy, that it's not the dick he was expecting, and he can tell just by grabbing it. So
the dick he was hoping for.
Yep. They better not take that shit out. I would be really mad if they take that shit out. I'm going to be really mad if they take that shit out.
Yeah.
It was delightful.
Because it's delightful.
Well, maybe another way, if they wanted to add voice acting to Metal Gear Solid, they could use those creepy new AI voice things.
Yeah.
Run any of those?
I've seen some games that, like a SpongeBob horror game that has an AI, uses the AI SpongeBob voices.
Oh, okay.
So, sounds weird.
Last week, NVIDIA they've been really tripling down on a lot of the AI stuff because they have tensor cores on their cards. That's what they use to like fill in the detail when you turn on DLSS and it like renders at a low resolution, then it figures out what goes between the pixels. That's like a rudimentary AI core. So they're actually using some of that stuff. So they came up with this scene called NVIDIA Ace, where it's a character that's like having a conversation and you can't hear it. It's a very robotic AI voice, but it's like they're showing off that they can basically do this in real time as opposed to some of the previous systems that have to like send out and then come back.
Yeah.
Is that you could just talk and then the characters will directly respond, and then the AI voice stuff will synthesize a voice. They'll do lip sync, they'll do kind of some motion, and they'll come back with logic based on what you said and stuff. I have a little bit of first off, it's no good yet. The AI voices are not expressive enough yet.
Yeah. Also, sometimes when they talk, it sounds like when you put, well, I don't know about this. I haven't seen this, but sometimes when I've heard them talk, it sounds like when you put something through Google Translate and it's like English. Yeah, it's English and you understand it, but it's like no one really talks like that.
It's like the inflections just aren't quite right.
Yeah.
And none of the pausing that you would normally get is there. The other problem I have with this is a conceptual problem that I've been complaining about for years.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to my video games.
Yeah.
Like I don't. And so if I'm not going to talk to my video games, it means that there's going to be a prompt that comes up that asks me to click on which dialogue I want, which means that I don't need this thing to be like
that smart anyway.
Yeah. I don't need it to be interpreting what I'm saying because I don't want to sit here by myself and go, "Hey man, do you have any quests for me?" Like by myself in my apartment. Boo. Also, it's really generic and not very good. So
yeah.
But
it's just the beginning, though. We have to get in on it now so that in 10 years we can really enjoy.
The thing I'm curious about is if all of the AI stuff has already started to cool and nobody cares anymore because it's boring now. Like, we're on to the next thing. It's fucking boring.
That is kind of the funny thing where everyone will be like up in arms and like, you can't do that. And then like a week later, everyone's like,
I'm bored. This is boring. I'm bored.
Let's move on. Yeah.
So apparently, though, they were talking about this same tech was being used in some other games. Oh yeah, Stalker 2 and Fallen Leaf for facial animation technology on the fly, as opposed to like generating voices. It's just like running the audio through and then letting this tech like animate the faces. So I don't know. I really do think that there's some interesting stuff that you can do with this. I just think they keep trying to jump all the way to the end.
Yeah. They're like, we're in the future. And it's like, no. We're in that weird, murky in between.
Like, I keep saying that I think that this would be great technology to run what NPCs in the background of Grand Theft Auto 6 are saying, right? Not like what you talk to the main characters about. No. But like the guy on the street, like, let him be generated by an AI if you can make it sound okay.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Agreed. How weird though. What if you have two NPCs talking to each other and they're like generating their own conversation and then accidentally talk each other into sentience?
I think it's more likely that they'll just get into a bad loop, and then it'll break your immersion even harder because they'll just be like, no, you, no, you, no, you, no, you, no, you, no, you.
She's stuck in a loop, and he's an idiot.
Yeah. Like that time in the best... when Chris and I played Postal 3, and there was a beautiful moment where a bunch of cops ran up and they pointed their guns at me, and I don't know, I like threw the gun or I walked away or I ran away. But like other cops came from the other side and they ended up pointing their guns at each other, both demanding that the other set of cops drop their weapons. And I was like,
you're like,
this is amazing. This is the best thing I've ever seen. And I think they finally just started shooting at each other.
Yeah, they're just like, you're getting hostile. You're getting hostile.
Yep. Let's see. Hey, that new Gollum game is so bad that the studio issued an apology.
Oh my God. Did y'all play that? Did you play that?
Nope. I was going to make your husband play that, and then I decided not to, and then
because you liked him too much?
Yeah, but now I'm starting to think that I should have done it because
you don't actually like him that much?
Yeah. Well, you know.
Have you seen footage from that game?
Yes, I've been watching it for 5 years.
It looks like garbage.
Always did.
Yeah.
Always did.
You could not tell me that is a game from this year.
Yep. Yeah, basically they say they like apologize. They're going to try to do some updates or whatever, but like
you should have never done it.
No.
It's too late. You didn't learn your lesson.
The problems are too deep. I'm going to go all the way back. I'm going to rewind all the way back to I think it might have been like way early RageSelect or even the Spill days when I was first talking about this.
Yeah.
It's just like the problem is no one wants to play a Gollum game.
Yeah.
Gollum's a reprehensible little toad.
Yeah.
Like
I don't understand what they thought they were doing.
Let me play as like a Treebeard or fucking like, I don't know, Pippin's Quest or something. Like, I don't want to play as Gollum. He's a repugnant character.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, what about what happened between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings? I'm like, I don't give a shit what happened to him between Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. Like, I don't know, do you go to rehab and become like a cool character and then oops, relapsed back into ring fucking addiction?
And it's actually like a tragedy because it was just like a low point after a series of high points.
Yeah, like he lived with a nice elf lady and her son from a previous marriage, and then like one day he got fired from his job at the Dwarven Mines, and she left him, cheated on him with a tree, and like then he was like,
with the tree.
He's like looking at the ring, like, no, I can't. But he tried calling his sponsor on like the Gollum phone, and like
this is the worst. Your fan fictions are always the worst.
I'm just saying, like, I saw the trailers, and it's just him sneaking behind orcs. He's not going to fight an orc on anybody. Like, he's just a little murderer. Like, he just gets behind people in the dark while they're asleep and chokes them to death and eats raw fish and fucking jerks off with his ring. Like, I don't want to play that guy. That guy sucks.
Play that guy. I am that guy.
Yeah. Like, you know, they put Gollum in Shadow of Mordor. And that was all right because I wasn't playing as him. I was playing as a fucking cool ranger guy.
Yeah, why not just like make up a character and you can go through the world? Why does it have to be a character from Lord of the Rings? It feels derivative.
Also, I mean, I know that this isn't true. I know this isn't true because people got all up in arms about that Amazon show, and I was just like, why? Do you guys still like Lord of the Rings? It's been like a decade since the bad movies came out. Like, are you guys still into this shit? Like, go find some other shit to be into. Like, this is over. The books are over.
Are they remaking the movies?
I don't know. Maybe.
Didn't they say that?
Something?
Ugh, God, I don't know.
I don't know. Why? You're so out of fucking ideas that you got to redo the same movie that I've already seen? Come on. Come in.
Sorry, Grandpa. Some people haven't seen it yet, and they want to see a new version.
Why do you need a new version?
Maybe they want Tom Holland as a Hobbit.
Why do you need a new version? That new version is fine. If those crazy-ass Weta dudes didn't make that, if it was like a crappy 90s... like, I'm not saying you should go watch the Ralph Bakshi version. I'm saying that they hired a group of lunatics and gave them an unlimited budget to make the definitive edition of this as a movie. Just go fucking watch it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
No.
Damn it. Well, okay. Speaking of horrible douchebags, that's not really a good segue, but I don't have one.
But that's where we're at.
In other news, a few weeks back, I had a story where the Dolphin emulator was being put on Steam. So Dolphin is a GameCube emulator.
Okay.
It's just the name of the GameCube emulator, right? It's been around for a long time. And somehow they were going to put it on Steam. And now this actually made a certain amount of sense because emulators aren't technically illegal. It might be illegal to have like the ROMs, and it might be illegal to have like the BIOSes, but like when it comes to actual like the law, you can have an emulator, and technically if you rip your own games off of like GameCube discs and load them in there, that's all legal. I bought the game, I'm free to do whatever I want to with it. I ripped it, I put it in this thing, boom, it worked. Except Nintendo doesn't see it like that.
That's not surprising.
So they sent Steam basically a DMCA threat, not a takedown, but it was like, if this gets published, then we will be pursuing a DMCA takedown. And Steam being Steam, they don't need that shit. So they just delisted it. The thing is that it should be worth noting that this is just some corporate bullshit, because like the makers of Dolphin, their website's still up. You can still download it. It's not like it's been stripped from the internet. Their GitHub is up. GitHub isn't like a pirate site. GitHub, you can do DMCA takedowns on GitHub. I've seen it. So like, I think that what happened here was that Nintendo realized that they could basically bully Steam into taking this off. It's also a weirdly unprecedented thing where it's like, if you put an emulator on Steam, but you don't give out any copyrighted anything, like, can you do that? Can I sell the software that was reverse engineered and like technically I didn't do anything like incredibly illegal? You did though. Usually a lot of times though, you do have to circumvent some of the like not the copyright, some of the security in order to get stuff to run, because a lot of times there'll be like a hardware chip that does authentication that you have to emulate, and so you technically have to break through some of the encryption to do that. But
feels like a gray area to me.
Yep.
And if there's anything Nintendo loves, it's gray areas for them to just go in and yell at people.
It is worth remembering always, Nintendo is a company that makes good games. But they are some litigious assholes when it comes to a lot of stuff. Let's see. We also had another story from Steam. The makers of Valorant came out to weigh in on mods. Or not Valorant, Valheim. Valheim is an incredibly popular like survival Viking game that's on Steam. And they were asked basically like, well, what do you think about mods? And they basically said, they came out and said that their kind of policy is that they don't have any problem with people modding. They do, though, think that charging for mods is against the spirit of the game. It's something that's been happening a lot more and more often recently. So, not much more to it than that.
How do you feel about it?
Oh, I don't think that you should charge for mods. Like their whole thing was like, we don't have a problem if you make the mods available and then basically have like a Patreon saying like, hey, if you want to support us, here's our Patreon, or here's a PayPal link or whatever,
or like coffee or whatever.
Totally on board for that. Do not think that people should be like,
pay me $10 and you can play this game with a Macho Man Randy Savage.
Right. Like, I think if you want to make your own game, like, I actually support a couple of independent games on Patreon, but I don't think that you should. I don't think that if you're building off of somebody else's game that you should then be able to charge for that. That's just kind of
that's fair.
One too far removed for me. So, Let's see. Next up, last week we got the news that Alan Wake 2 will not have a physical release.
Yeah.
That'll be digital only. But strangely, THQ, or THQ Nordic, I don't think THQ even exists anymore, but THQ Nordic came out and said, well, you might not want to release a physical edition, but we will, which is weird, but only when you realize, or only before you realize that THQ, original THQ, not THQ Nordic, but original THQ, were the ones who did the PC release of the original Alan Wake.
Oh.
So they were like outsourced to do that back in ye olden days. Now, this was like, you know, they added them on Twitter, basically. So it's not exactly like a formal request of any kind. But I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people, I don't like physical games anymore because I just like...
I'm like, about it. Like, do I want it? Yes. Do I... Like, it doesn't...
I think the fact that they're using it to keep the price $10 cheaper is fine with me.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Yeah. But I don't know. I hope that, you know, if people want that they were able to get it. Because I know Michael's nothing. He always does physical media. So
one digital game isn't going to hurt him.
Let's see. We got, I don't even know how to transition to this. I put this up because it was a Resident Evil story, but then I didn't realize what it was until I read it. So Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City might be getting a sequel. So that was the 2021 Resident Evil movie reboot.
Oh.
Like non-Mila Jovovich Resident Evil thing. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, that did happen, didn't it?
Yeah, I forgot.
Like, did anybody actually watch that?
No.
I don't think so.
But sequel.
But yes, this was from a site called Sudbury.com. Basically the Canadian area where they filmed the first one got a huge like investment.
Yeah.
And part of that was earmarked for something called Umbrella Chronicles, which I think might be just like code for another Resident Evil.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I found out that this movie actually made money, because if it was made in Canada on subsidies.
That's true.
And then the number of horror movie fans are just like, fuck yeah, I'm going to go see the new Resident Evil movie, whatever.
Yeah, I remember a little bit of the buildup, and then every time I hear about it, I'm always like, when did it come? It felt like everyone's like, here it comes, silence. Do you remember that movie came out? And I'm like, what?
November of 2021 was when it came out. So like
totally. Well, in fairness, like 2020 to 2022 is a horrifying blur to me.
Also, I think it was November. Hold on. Welcome to Raccoon City. Google. Talk to me.
Google,
wait, no, don't talk
give
to
me your answer.
Welcome to Raccoon City. November. Yep, November. See, okay, that's your problem right there, man. November 24th, 2021, they put it out at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Like, you put that out for Halloween, man. Like, if you couldn't make it by Halloween, you should have waited till next year.
Yeah.
Because that's a fucking Halloween movie.
Well, there's 2 times to do a horror movie. That's the Halloween-y time, and like summer has a bunch of horror movies.
Also,
Resident Evil isn't particularly Halloween-y.
Hey, though, look at this. $25 million budget, $42 million box office.
Oh, there you go.
Horror movies, man, they will make money no matter what.
Hell yeah, they do, baby.
Albert Wesker was in this movie?
I don't know.
Tom Hopper was Albert Wesker?
The guy from Umbrella Academy?
Yeah.
See
Luther from Umbrella Academy.
Sorry, Gerard Way just showed up.
Luther from Umbrella Academy is Albert Wesker. Man, I think you and I might need to watch this movie.
Hell yeah, dude.
What is this? Okay, so
let's watch a weird movie.
Claire Redfield, Jill Valentine.
Do you recall? Ooh,
she was in Game of Thrones.
Okay,
and then Robbie Amell as Chris
That's
Redfield.
like Stephen Amell's cousin or some shit.
He was from is best known on the CW series The Tomorrow People. And The Flash.
He did a TV series where he like died and his consciousness was uploaded into a thing.
Amazon series Upload.
Yeah, I didn't watch it, but like every clip I saw looked really adorable.
This guy was Leon Kennedy, Avon Tudor Yogia, who's in A Girl Like Me, the Gwen Arujo story. I don't know what the fuck is going on here.
I've been wanting to do
Donald Logue is in this?
what the fuck?
As like the RPD chief of police? The RPD is in here? Neil McDonough is William Birkin? What the fuck? Lily Gao is Ada Wong? Wait, is that the same lady that was Ada Wong in the game remake? Yeah.
Oh.
She was the one who played Ada Wong in RE4 remake.
What the fuck?
She was actually in the movie?
It was movie casting?
I don't even know.
What is happening?
I don't even know.
I've been wanting to do like a monthly movie night on the Discord.
Yeah.
I just barely threw the idea out to the Discord like last week.
Yeah.
Maybe this will be our first movie, Jeff.
Did you guys know there was a Resident Evil movie?
You guys want to watch Resident Evil? And they're all like, hell yeah, the first Resident Evil movie? And I'm like, no.
The one that you guys have not seen. 30% based on 87 reviews of Rotten Tomatoes. So
hell yeah. Do you guys want to see it? I only watch movies 30% or below.
Do you want to see it? This is the bad movie night. We got the good movie night and the bad movie
hell
night.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay. Wow.
Wow.
Give me a sequel, baby. Bring back Donald Logue for the sequel. Okay, trailer time. We got a trailer for Silent Hill Ascension, which is a very weird thing.
Yeah.
This is the Silent Hill Quotey Fingers game that is not a game. It's like a Twitch plays Pokemon. It's a game the way that Twitch plays Pokemon is a game. Where like it's going to be
we like an
interactive movie that's rendered in real time, but then like what the chat says determines things that happen. Like,
well, be prepared for this to be a 30-minute game because we're going to die.
So I read an interview. Okay, let me talk about the trailer. The trailer looks like Until Dawn. Let's just be honest. If I told this was Until Dawn 3, you would believe me. I
genuinely thought it was Until Dawn until it started playing and I could see the little
There's like
title.
A couple of Resident Evil-y things, like a little bit, but like
are there any Silent Hill-y things?
Or Silent Hill-y things, some Silent Hill-y things, but like the problem I think is a lot of times Silent Hill, the iconography from Silent Hill is like,
you know what it reminds me more
Head.
of? Yeah. What was the game that we played? Evil Within?
Evil Within 2?
It's got a little bit of that Evil Within.
They got one vagina face. That was a pretty good vagina face in there.
That's a really good vagina face. You know what? I take it back. This game looks amazing. Have you seen that vagina face? Wow.
That is a vagina face,
You're
man.
Gonna get, look.
Anyway, there was a huge interview with one of the guys that was making this on Polygon, and it sounds fucking kooky, man. Like it sounds like it's just it sounds like a bunch of Twitch people playing Until Dawn.
Yeah,
and then like.
Which can't be enjoyable. And
then they said like, okay, well it'll be like one day a week or something where it happens. And they're like, well, what happens if you try to come in and like you don't know what happened last week? And they're like, well, we'll be producing these like previously on like every week to put on. And then like they're like, well, what about the other choices that because you've done all this work because there's 36 endings? Like, well, then we'll have like a new game plus basically after the first season is over, where like it goes back through but locks out all the previous choices so you can see like different stuff. And I'm like, does anybody want this? Is this the way you want to play your video games?
Wasn't there once a TV show that was connected to a video game, and they were like, we'll have weekly campaigns, and then whatever happens in the campaign is going to change the outcome of the television show, and like both the video game and the television show fucking sucked.
I think you might be thinking of Quantum Break. Where it was like you would play the game and there'd be basically like a 20-minute episode of a TV show based on like what the choices that you made in the game. A different one.
Yes, but like also no. I genuinely think there was something that was literally like this aired on television or streamed on blah blah blah, but like isn't in the game. It's like an actual.
I don't know. I don't know.
This might be one of those weird, like...
You just making shit up?
No, like fever dream, like Mandela effect things where it's like, I remember it.
Yeah.
But I could be totally wrong.
I don't know. This seems like a really terrible idea, but I don't know. Maybe I'll tune in, I guess. Try it out one of these times. I also don't like the idea that it's like, oh, you have to tune in at a specific time and place, and I'm just like,
that's
fuck
a TV
you.
show. Yeah.
Fuck you. I'm busy.
We're past that.
Yeah. But then, like, you couldn't do it, right? If you didn't, so.
Yeah. I think it's...
oh, man. Last chance to get that mushroom horse.
I was fucking wondering what that... It looks from where I am, and I definitely needed to get new glasses.
Like bread?
It looks like a horse made out of several hamburgers.
It's a bunch of hamburgers.
It's just like,
all stuck
what
together.
the fuck is up with the hamburger horse?
This is the last part of the podcast where we get all weird loopy and start looking stuff up. We got a 7-minute.
That's too long. I don't want to talk about it.
3 key aspects of Amnesia the Bunker with like the guy that made Amnesia the Bunker.
We don't have time. You got to go fast. Give me one of the key aspects. I don't want to know all 3.
Let's see. One of the things, there's one monster in the game. There's one primary monster that is completely and totally like unscripted. Like there are no scripted events. It's all just AI based, like on what you're doing. Like it'll go to different places.
Yeah.
Like this entire game is randomized. So if you play it, like you might get different items in a different cabinet on a subsequent
Which means
playthroughs.
you might get fucked during playthroughs.
Exactly. And that they want you to like play the game and die and then like go back and play it again. Like they want you to play the game and get used to it.
Yeah.
I am interested in this because like,
are you a fan of Amnesia games?
No, I fucking hate Amnesia games.
Why are you interested in it?
I'm about to tell you. It's because this takes place in a World War I bunker, and there's like parts where the main character picks up like a grenade, and I'm like, oh, well, can I throw a grenade at a monster? Because the problem that I had with Amnesia was they were like, hide in a closet, and don't look at it.
Yeah, and don't look at it.
Yeah.
Not only hide, which is fine for a horror game, but when it's like, and don't look at the shitty monster we made.
Yep. Also, it should be noted, this comes out next week. This is going to be on Game Pass.
Oh, nice.
So if you had a
that
question,
makes it nicer.
Yeah, you can give it a shot. See what you think.
7 minutes. God, I'm not gonna watch 7 fucking minutes about this.
I watched a 10-minute documentary about marathon that I don't care about. Okay. How about the world's worst live action trailer, Amanda?
Oh, hell yeah.
It's this Diablo 4 trailer where there's all these people that keep turning to the camera and being like, won't you save us? Oh, we're all in danger. And then like in between.
And the whole time you're like, no.
Yeah. And then like they have some kind of action parts, but they look really like cheesy and stupid.
This looks like, yeah. This actually looks like an old 90s commercial or something. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Like it looks like it's 2 seconds away to be like,
2.
yeah. It looks like it's 2 seconds away from being like Mountain Dew, Dark Ages, and you just like real into it. Like it just.
Yeah, there's it looks absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why they keep spending money on shit like this, where it's like, you could have just made a CGI trailer and it would have been better. Also at the end, the little kid, there's like a little kid that's about to be murdered or something.
Yeah.
And he like looks to camera and he's like, hurry. And I'm like, fuck you, I'm not buying the early access. $20. You kill that kid. You can kill that kid.
Yeah,
I don't
I'll
give a shit.
sacrifice that kid.
There was also like this is like, yeah.
Are we the bad guys?
It's directed by Chloe Zhao.
Oh, do I know that name? I feel like I know that name.
Let's see. Shot by Oscar-winning director
What the
Chloe
hell?
Zhao, co-directed by Kiku Ohe. Blah 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 blah. Tell me who is this? Who are you? This is where like Operation Raccoon City. Oh no!
Like it's the same thing over and over again. She directed The Eternals.
Right, that's what it was. The Eternals. Right, and then the Nomad Land, and they keep doing that thing where it's like, let's get somebody who directed a bunch of really like soulful indie things and then make them do a Marvel movie. And it's
how'd that work out? I didn't watch that Marvel movie.
I liked it because it was like the first movie post Endgame that wasn't like obsessed with Endgame and the rest of the MCU. But like
somebody said it was very Jack Kirby-y because it was like celestials and egg.
The thing is that
and shit.
They definitely did the thing where they're like, and then at the end there's a giant celestial head in the ocean on Earth.
Yeah.
And the only time it's brought up is like on one website in She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And like nobody else is talking about it in any of the other movies.
But okay, so in fairness though, isn't the entire universe at this point so traumatized by everything that like who's gonna even care?
Yeah.
They're like, there's a giant head sticking out of the ocean in the middle of nowhere. Is it alive? No, it's dead. I don't care. I just don't care. Tell me when it's Godzilla.
We got the release trailer for System Shock. Played this with John last week. I've actually been playing it by myself, and I really kind of enjoy it.
Nice.
It's got a very interesting style where everything is kind of like made out of blocks, which I think is interesting because it's like trying to emulate the original low resolution style of the original PC game.
That's kind of a nice take on that.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure if I enjoy it, but the other thing is that it's an old game, and I didn't realize this, but it's really easy. Like, there's very little...
Sometimes you just need an easy game, Jeff.
...problem in dying, and they give you a lot of ammo. I remember being really hard when I was a kid, but like...
Yeah.
But that, I think, was before...
Well, let's face it, you were a bad gamer as a child.
I was. I owned Dragon Warrior.
Yeah.
And I kept playing it, and then I would just get to a part where it was too hard. I'd be like, I don't know what you want out of me. I hit the fight button and I don't win. And nobody explained what grinding was because it was like 1992 or something like that. So
you can't call that like Nintendo number to tell you what to do.
It was like a toll number.
I know.
My parents would let me do that. It used to cost a lot of money to make phone calls, you guys.
It used to cost money to text people. Do you guys know that?
Yes.
Fuck.
Depending on were you calling people on roaming or nights and weekends?
Don't call me until it's after 9 p.m.
Yep.
What are you doing?
Ratchet & Clank: Rift Apart is coming to the PC.
Nice.
It's got some new things. I think it's kind of strange. It's coming in July. It's got ultra widescreen monitor support. It's got some DLSS support and things like that. The thing I'm really curious about, though, is there was a lot of... When Sony showed this off, there was all these sequences in Ratchet & Clank where you were going through these portals, and they had basically said that like the only way that they could make that work was to have this super fast hard drive from the PS5 in order to load stuff fast. And I'm wondering, like, because PCs can have like slow hard drives and shit, like what happens if you don't have a fast enough solid state drive to load that stuff in real time, or did they just come up with a porting way to like cover the loads or something? Because there were literally like there was like these parts where you would see a portal and then you would just like drag yourself to another part of the level like instantaneously. So, but Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart rules.
Man, those designs are clean.
Oh man, I'm kind of mad though that this trailer doesn't talk as much about Rivet, because Rivet is great, and it's like 50% Ratchet and 50% Rivet. And yeah, go watch Matt and I. We played the entire thing. You won't have to shell out the money. I'm gonna start cutting stuff. There's a game called Infinity Strash Dragon Quest Adventures of Dai that got a release date. This is okay. So
that looks like Dragon Ball Z to me.
It's because it's the same guy. Akira Toriyama does the art for both.
Good. So I'm not just being a horrible person.
Yes. A guy made a manga based on the original Dragon Quest, a spin-off manga. That manga then got converted into an anime or into like a live or to CGI Netflix series like 2 years ago. Okay. This game is based on that live action, or not live action, that Netflix series. So
Netflix series.
It looks all right. Like it looks like some Dragon Ball.
Yeah,
it's like a third person action.
If you told me this was just some Dragon Ball Z game or Dragon Ball game, I'd be like, yeah. Makes sense.
But yeah, it's coming out in September of this year. So, bing, bing, boom. Let's see. Double Dragon Gaiden: The Rise of the Dragons got a release date in end of July. Super happy about this. I'm glad this is one of those, like, they announced this like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, and it's coming out at the end
July.
of the month. So
nice. You could be Marion?
Yeah, even though I'm a little bit mad. About the Marion.
Why?
Well, I don't know. It's so stupid. They put Marion in River City Girls 2, and she was like a muscle mommy because it was like, oh, they kidnapped her, and while she was in Mad Gear's jail, she just started doing sit-ups until she got so strong she just like punched her way out of there.
Yeah.
And here
they're like, she has a gun.
She's got a gun.
Skinny, sexy lady with a gun.
Yeah, she's a skinny lady with a little short skirt and a gun. It's fine. I just liked that take on Marion. So
the muscle mommy.
Yeah, but
shocker.
Yep. End of the month. Let's see. WrestleQuest got a Legends trailer.
Oh, I'm so hyped.
And a release date.
Yeah. Especially when they start off with Jake Roberts.
Have you seen this trailer by any chance?
No, sir, I have not.
Okay. I don't know who half of these people are.
Well, that's a Macho Man. That's Jeff Jarrett with a guitar.
Is that supposed to be Rey Mysterio?
Oh, man. There's another luchador's name. That's Jake Roberts, Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yep.
That looked like DDP, I think. Yeah, so that's a diamond cutter. Fucking. That's amazing.
Who are those guys?
That was I forget what they're called, but it's Demolition?
Okay.
Doomsday? I don't know. There's a bunch of that's Sergeant Slaughter. There's a bunch of tag team wrestlers in the 80s that I get them all confused. So.
Yeah.
Doomsday Device.
Yeah, this looks awesome. This just looks absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
Some kind of like silly JRPG wrestling quest. August 8th. So bada bing bang boom.
I'm gonna be up. I'm gonna wake up at like 3 a.m. with the name of that luchador, and it's gonna bother the fuck out of me.
Also, I think you and I played Hot Wheels Unleashed when it came out. Did we play that? I might not have.
Maybe.
It was like a Hot Wheels racing game, basically.
I black out all the things we play.
Yeah.
Well, I go home and then I drink until I black out, and then I don't remember the things we play.
Lucky. So they announced this week that there was going to be Hot Wheels Unleashed 2. The first one was really fun.
Yeah.
This one's going to have like motorcycles. It's going to have four-wheelers.
Yeah.
It's going to have a little bit more enhanced story mode, and some more customization. That's great. The first one of these was real fun. Even though I don't like it when racing games put in like cars that don't have somebody in them or on them. So,
but the point is, they're toys.
I know
they're little toys.
I know, but just seeing a motorcycle
that looks like a Batmobile. Is that straight up just the Batmobile?
Yes.
Okay.
Because Hot Wheels has like the license for some of the stuff.
They have a license for everything. You ever walk past the Hot Wheels section at a toy store?
Nope.
Nobody ever does, but they have everything.
Yeah. So that's coming out October 19th. Nice. Let's see. And we're going to finish off with a couple more things. 6 Days at Fallujah is getting an early access launch June 22nd. I have never been able to figure out why this is still happening. This game was originally started as like a first-person shooter that took place during the Battle of Fallujah, like the actual thing. And Konami dropped it, and then it got picked up like 3 years ago by an independent place.
Yeah.
It's making it like a multiplayer
Is this like a project they just won't let die kind of deal?
Sort of. I don't know. Like whenever. Okay, here's the thing. I like violence. I like violence a lot. But like when they, the trailer for this that they put out with the early access announcement trailer has like a bunch of interviews with the actual people that were like there and got shot at or shot, like that got injured and did actual action in this battle. And I'm just like, no, I don't want that. That's too real, man.
Yeah, that's kind of not great.
And then the idea that it's like,
won't you have fun being these guys?
that like they've randomized all of like the threats in the world and stuff to try to be like, oh, we're trying to make it like unpredictable, like you're actually there, and that it's going to evoke like actual fear in you. And I'm like, I don't want that.
I don't understand what you're trying to get.
Also, the actual game itself just looks kind of like a generic Call of Duty clone.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. This is very strange, and I'm not sure how I feel. And I think this is one of those ones that maybe you just leave this one alone.
Yeah.
So.
No, thank you.
Homeworld 3 has been delayed from early 2023 to early 2024. They basically decided that they weren't going to be able to get it done without working their devs to death. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, don't kill them.
Do whatever.
We love our devs here at RageSelect, mostly.
Metal Gear Solid board game was canceled. But then it was brought back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is going to be... it was canceled by IDW, but then they had a rival called Come On that's another
Come On
board game company. This thing is $100. I don't know. New board game stuff, they've all got 1 billion miniatures, and they're all super goddamn expensive. So
yeah. I don't know, man. It's funny. When you get board games that don't have all those miniatures and it's just little cardboard bullshits, you're always like, I'd rather pay a little more and get all the little plastic toys that come with it.
Yeah.
That might be because I tabletop game with nothing but people that own toys, Randy, who owns Rogues Gallery. So, he has access to the best deluxe version of every game.
Yeah.
So then you get fucking spoiled, and then you buy a game for yourself and you're like, no, it has to be the good version. Everything needs a chip and a little dial and its own little plastic thingamaboober.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this looks like a cool game, but again, I also don't play board games.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like a board game for Metal Gear Solid would be too convoluted with rules and stuff. I guess you can simplify it, but
hard to say.
I don't know.
Hard to say. Strong Bad's cool game for attractive people is getting delisted from Steam permanently.
Wow.
Due to licensing problems.
Yeah.
So, because it was a Telltale game and Telltale, that don't exist anymore. And so I'm sure the license is just reverting back to the Brothers chaps who don't want to have to worry about keeping up with the game. So,
which is fair.
Yep. Actually, I should say it's already been delisted because I checked today and it was.
Yeah.
Done. Finally, let's talk about Tetris a little bit. If you ever want to play the weirdest version of Tetris of all time,
I do.
An indie developer created a thing called Setris, which is sand Tetris.
Oh my god!
Or whenever you put down a Tetris piece, it just kind of devolves into sand.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
Yeah. But then you actually have to
only kind of
make lines go all the way across, and it's mostly by color.
Yeah.
It looks like it could be, when you look at it at first, it's oh, well, that's way easier than Tetris.
No, that looks intensely harder.
Oof. So, but yeah, it's an itch.io game that you can play right now and download, pay what you want.
Yeah.
So make sure it's itch.io/Setris, Setris.
Setris.
And last but not least, maybe you don't want your Tetris as sand.
Yeah.
Maybe you want it as a gigantic chicken nugget.
That sounds more up my alley.
McDonald's in China, unfortunately only in China, is selling a giant chicken McNugget that also plays Tetris.
That's
because it's both the anniversary of the chicken nugget and Tetris, and so they are making this. It costs about $6, I think, in the Chinese currency. Not available in America.
We never get anything good.
It comes with a little carrying case, a little nugget carrying case, and it comes in a little fake nugget box.
That's cute.
I would totally buy this gigantic nugget Tetris stupid thing.
I wish it was a cell phone. Like a chicken nugget cell phone.
Just a giant chicken nugget cell phone.
Yeah. So you'd be like, oh, hang on, I got a really important call. Hello.
Boop. Yep.
And just hold a nuggie to your face.
Do you think you would accidentally dip your cell phone into some kind of sauce?
I already do that anyway.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't need to be shaped like a chicken nugget for that to happen.
Give us the cool stuff, McDonald's.
We want the cool. Well, I'm never going to McDonald's anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Damn, man. I found out the other day that they've got that. It's bad. It's like $9 for 20 nuggets and a basket of fries. Not even like a supersized fries, but like a full basket of fries. 20
They're
nuggets.
like, it's for a family, and you're like, yes,
for $9. Well, the thing is, everything is $9.
Yeah.
So it's like, holy shit, that's a lot of food for $9. I know it's garbage, but at this point, like, Wendy's will sell me garbage for like $14.
Dude, Wendy's is too expensive. John and I got last time we went, it was like 2 meals, just like 2 regular combos, and they were like $45, please. We're like, no, this is a fucking Wendy's, right? Am I right or am I fucking wrong?
Well,
no.
First off, I stopped going to Wendy's when they changed their French fries because I think that
that's valid.
Their new, like, these French fries are cold but they're still crispy, and I'm like, no, that's gross. I don't know what the fuck you're doing to those French fries, but that's gross. That's not what I want. They're like, well, just in case they get cold, then they won't be. I'm like, no, if they're cold, I want them to be shit.
Yeah.
Like, I want the hot ones to be good and the cold ones to be shit, and then I want you to give me the hot ones. I don't want you to fucking work your way around this. Also, I don't know what happened 5 years ago, but Wendy's just decided that they were fucking fancy. Like, oh, you know what? Just the sandwich costs $8.50.
What the
it's like,
fuck,
it's
dude?
a cheeseburger, asshole.
John and I every once in a while go out to eat, and we're like, did we become more poor, or is everything becoming more expensive?
It's the second one.
The answer is both simultaneously, which is
like, I'm
horrifying.
sorry. Dave's Double is worth $3.50.
Yeah.
Like, it is ground fucking beef on a white bread bun with imitation cheese, lettuce, tomato, onions, mustard,
RageSelect thing to
ketchup.
start just yelling about fast food places. But like, even fucking Taco Bell, our beloved Taco Bell, I got a cravings box thing they have.
Yep.
And the price was weird, like, and then John got his stuff, and then we were like, wow, this was really expensive. I was like, I thought the craving box was always like $5, and we look at our
not anymore.
thing,
they're like
it's
$8.
Like $2 more than a regular combo, and it's like, then why is it there? You're just like having a full existential crisis over it.
Yep. So let's see. Build your own deluxe node. The deluxe cravings box, the one that comes
almost
with
$9.
Seasoned fries, chicken chalupa supreme, beef love 5-layer burrito, nacho cheese Doritos, Locos Tacos, and a medium fountain drink is $8.50.
Dude, that shit used to be $5.
Why did they put the chalupa in there? Chalupas cost too much, and I don't buy them.
Yeah.
But you put that in there instead of like a fucking bean burrito, and then you juice the price up by $2.
Yeah.
And now when I get that shit, and also like one extra taco, I'm paying $10 at Taco Bell.
Yeah.
So when I go to McDonald's and they're like, do you want 20 McNuggets and a whole basket of fries for $9? And I'm like, thank you. Yes, that is the amount of food I want for $9. Too much food.
Just enough to make me feel bad about who I am as a person.
Because at this point, why don't you just go to fucking... I spent $20 on Chinese food last night, and it was too much Chinese food. But you know what? Like, I could have split that Chinese food with somebody else, and it would have been $10 a head.
Yeah.
So, what
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you want a lot of French fries and, like, shitty fucking tacos, really, the ingredients are, like... $10.
I went to Sonic.
Dude, I haven't been to Sonic in years.
Because there was a day I talked about it on the podcast. I went to Sonic. I got a footlong coney cheese dog.
Yeah.
Tots and a Route 44 cherry limeade.
Yeah.
And it was like $11. And then I brought it home, and it was so burned that I had to drive back. I couldn't even choke it down. And I'll eat fucking cardboard. I'm a smoker.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, this is inedible. What have you done? Have you fucked up a hot dog with chili? And what balls do you have charging me $10 for a hot dog and water with some sugar in it?
I'm going to say that so far, Wiener Schnitzel is the cheapest you can get food.
Yeah.
Like, a too much food for a lower cost, but then you have to eat Wiener Schnitzel.
Right.
So, like, you really win some and you lose some. You know what I mean?
I mean, like, I'm not trying. Like, I know this is old man behavior, right? Like, this is what happens. Wow, when I was a kid, you used to be able to get your lunch for $5.
Yeah.
But the thing is that, like, I know how much $8 is. Mm-hmm. And that ain't it, Chief.
Yeah.
You're fucking, like, you can remix Taco Bell however you want, but Taco Bell started to get fucking full of itself, just like Wendy's, where they're like, oh no, it's $9 now. And I'm like, you make nothing that is worth $9. Your quote unquote steak ain't worth shit.
Yeah.
Like, you could give me a fucking large drink cup full of steak and it would be worth like $3 at most. But I mean, what are you gonna do? Well, I know what I'm doing is I just don't eat at these places anymore.
Nope.
Because it's like I've
gotten priced out at Taco Bell and Wendy's.
I could get if I'm gonna pay $8. Especially because if I get the deluxe cravings box and one other thing, I'm paying $10 to go to Taco Bell.
Yeah,
I get barbecue for $10 in this fucking town. Like,
that is true.
I get good food,
dude, and it's like a gross amount of barbecue too. You get the meat sweats and everything.
I mean, for you add $2 extra on top of that, I could get a poke bowl. I can get fucking like pad thai. You know, if you were gonna be charging me $10 for shit, then I'm gonna add an extra $2 and eat like not shit.
Yeah. I'll eat like a king.
I will shovel feces directly into my mouth for $6. Let's be clear here.
Patreon.com/RageSelect, baby.
Woo! That's it. That's the place to go, and that's the podcast. Oh my God. Sorry, I've been really frustrated for a long time about this.
I didn't
somebody
know
finally was there. All right, that's it. Don't go eat at Taco Bell. I'm renouncing my sponsorship until they lower their fucking craving box prices. See you next week, everybody. Bye.